deal is. We're not.
All right, you're on.
Oh, hey, everybody! This is Tad. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I just want to welcome everybody to 2218's Attitude for Gratitude. And I'm sitting here with my best friend,
Timmy J.
Cut the promo.
Oh, here at 2218, we just want to thank 2218. They're the ones who's housing us. They're the ones who's helping us keep this going. If you would like to donate, please just reach out to 2218 and feel free to donate. We've got links that will be put up throughout the show. We had technical difficulties, but we're hammering it out. Tad will explain that to you. Go ahead, buddy.
Progress, perfection, just like everything in life. Hey, I just want to tell everyone, I hope that you're staying warm and you're happy and stay healthy to the best of everyone's abilities. This is a live and interactive show. So, Aaron, you are my best friend. That's the deal with recovery. I have more than one best friend now. So, anyways, you guys can fight over me later off air. But this is a live interactive show. So if you guys aren't in the comments asking questions, interacting with the show, then we can not be interactive.
Right.
So, and the beautiful thing about the comment section here is, as we've seen in the past, that it can be used, and it's a powerful tool, just like my friend Tim.
Very powerful tool. Look at Tad. You can't wipe the smile off his face right now. You know what? I want to hop in here real quick and tell everyone, share this. Please just get it out there to everyone that you can imagine would benefit from listening to this show. We talk about recovery. We talk about a new way to live, a happy, joyful, new way to live. And just anyone you can think of that would benefit from that,
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Share it. Smash the like button.
Smash that like button. Hey, we got a great show for you today. Two of my other best friends in the whole wide world. Elaina, you want to say hi?
Hi.
And my friend Ashley.
Hello, everybody.
They are going to be on, and we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. And, hey, I just want to let everyone know that I'm grateful for how this show is growing and for our audience. And you know what? Let's just get right into it. Let's chop it up.
Chop it up. Yeah.
What happened to the comments?
Oh, hey, thank you to Sammers and Rob for joining us on our... You know what? Everyone who's checking in, we appreciate you.
Yeah, there we are.
We really do. We can run through it now. You want to get some shout-outs real quick? We've had a lot of people already check in. Let us know about our No Sound, like Weber, Slavic, we've had a lot of people already today. So, Christina, Joe, everybody, thank you so much. We appreciate you. What's up, Robbie? Oh, hey, we love you, Rob. We love you.
Are you out of here, Rob?
Look at that. In and out like lake trout.
I don't know.
Yeah,
what's going on.
Sean and Christine and everyone who's checking in, we appreciate that. Just try to share this with as many people as you can think of.
I just want to say hi to Jolissa. I'm so glad that you're in
hey,
here.
girl. Jolissa's here.
And Cassie and Samantha, I love you. I love all you guys.
Cheryl has posted the actual link on the comments. So if you want to help 2218, which, hey, man, we've 22 here at 2218, we've stayed open through the whole pandemic, and we've helped other organizations stay open and trailblaze, just as we have done since the beginning of AA in Minnesota. And, we've moved on from that to helping all recovery functions. We're not just, one brand. We're here for all.
Right.
And so, if you ever need to reach out to any of us, have ideas about the show, you need help for resources, maybe it's treatment, sober housing, or you just know someone. Look, man, me and Tim give our info here, but look, if there's a lady that needs help, we have lots of lady friends. Two of them are on the show, and if we don't know how to help you, we can dang sure try our hardest to find someone, and more times than not, we're not. You can get at me at Tad Ackerman on Facebook, or you can get at Tim at
Timothy J. Warren as well on Facebook. Just do not hesitate to reach out, like he was saying.
And make sure that when you hit us up with that friend request or that message, that you just let us know why you're talking, because as the show has gone on, as you can imagine, we've gotten a lot of random people, and we got to try and filter through that. So we just want to know what, we're approachable guys, I think.
Very approachable.
So without further ado, let's chop it up again.
Chop it up, baby.
Love you, Stoner. That means the world to me. I love you so much.
And a quick shout out to Cheryl Larson. Thank you for everything you're doing and getting this out there. And a little side note here is Bob made it home safe and sound. He was just down there visiting Scott and Cheryl, and he said he had a blast. See, that's what we do in this thing is we network.
Oh man,
It's just that great. So you want to bring it over to one of these girls?
I don't know.
What's up, Lana?
What's the thing on the top?
You don't have to whisper. We can talk about it. The thing on the top is everything we need to see. What?
It says next week's guest is Leon and Chelsea. That's old.
Oh,
yeah, that is all.
Okay, we'll get it
wow.
corrected.
Oh well, next week's guests are not Leon and
No,
Chelsea.
I'll text there. We'll get it figured out. That's all good.
Yeah, it's not a big
Progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
Good eye though. Thanks, Elaina.
Deal. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Sid because I forgot we're super unorganized tonight.
I know.
Sorry about
I'm
that.
feeling it.
So let's you know what? I'm gonna take a sip of my Red Bull here, and what do you guys want to talk about tonight?
Yeah.
Well, the main thing we want to talk about is recovery because that's what we're all here for.
Perfect.
The other thing that we're going to talk about is self-love.
Yes.
You like that, Ted?
I do.
Well, why don't one of you girls go ahead and get started and let's do this. Self-love.
All right, I'll get started. So, self-love is a big thing for me these days because when we come into the program, we really don't like ourselves. We don't like anything about ourselves. So, and this is not to be perfection. Like, we don't automatically start loving ourselves, and we do make mistakes, and we do have a little bit of downfall sometimes, but I have a list of 6 things that I try to do all the time. All the time. And one of the things is not to drag yourself down. And when I say that, I sit in meetings and I listen to people talk about how they're comparing themselves to other people.
I've done that.
Comparing themselves to people that have the perfect house, the perfect marriage, the perfect job, the perfect kids. You don't have to compare yourself to other people because at some point in your life, as you start to grow and get better, you're going to get those things.
And it's not about those things, though. That doesn't make you perfect.
It's not about
Oh,
those
man,
things.
right.
No.
You have to stop dragging yourself down because this is something that we're going to keep learning as time goes by. The other thing is setting boundaries. In recovery, you have to
boundaries.
learn to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And I've learned this is whether it be boundaries with other people, boundaries with myself, being in a situation that I'm not happy with, that I don't feel comfortable with, I have to be able to set a boundary
And keep it.
and not worry about hurting other people's feelings. So like if I'm over at somebody's house and I don't feel safe, I have to be able to leave and not worry about how they feel. And they have to understand that I had to set a boundary for myself to where I feel comfortable
And
with myself.
it's about you. It's about you. It's not.
Yeah.
And you setting boundaries is about what's healthy for you and you. And at first when I set boundaries, and I've talked about this before, like I had to step away from this organization for a while and I had to set boundaries with people. And I thought that everyone in the world was going to be like, you're healthy and you're doing the right thing. And that's not what happened. People were like, you're a piece of shit. You're going to relapse. You're doing this. You're not okay. My friends, however, Sydney actually was pretty integral in this. Like he talked to me, he's like, Dad, you've done a lot for the stuff and you're doing what you need to do for yourself. You need to do what's best for your mental health. You're in treatment, you're here and here. And, so when we set boundaries, it's important for me. I just need to express to other people that it's important that not everyone else is going to be happy. Because some people, when you're a yes man or a, what's it called, people pleaser,
Yep.
Right.
and they're used to that. There are people in your lives, even in recovery, that are used to you doing everything, that like you the way you are. They like you sick because it's more convenient for them.
Right.
And when you set a boundary, not everyone's going to jump for joy.
Yep.
But as I have found,
Especially the people that take advantage of that and know that your weaknesses and take advantage, they're not going to like that you set boundaries.
and
Yes.
people don't like change. So
No.
too. So some people might not even trying to take advantage. They just don't like change. Like, I don't know. I remember there were times when I went through this that just like hugs from you two individuals were like got me through the day. Like, and I'm being serious. Like, because I don't know. I had to read all these books in treatment. Like they gave me like 7 books on boundaries and packets, and then they're
The
like,
best hug is a bear hug.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and the
they-
tight ones.
Yep.
when I first got in the program, like I was still kind of thinking about leaving, and I had actually died twice. But when these two would see me, like they would almost choke me out, and like you're not going anywhere this time, and that was kind of. I'm serious. Sometimes my neck hurt.
I just want to say, John, I absolutely love your comment. The only person I'm in competition with is the person I was yesterday. I absolutely love you.
Yep.
I love that. That is absolutely 100% true.
Hey, John.
That's a great statement.
Hey,
It is.
absolutely.
So,
And then I also every day I live in the state of gratitude. I'm always grateful for what I have. I'm always grateful for what I have.
And it's the little things.
It is the little
Things like putting brand new socks on, brushing your teeth,
Yes.
being able to do that, being able to
yeah.
sleep, having covers to put over you when you're sleeping. It's just the little things, you know,
Right.
that are, yeah.
No, that
Yep.
makes sense too. When I came into recovery for myself personally, it was like I forgot what self-care, self-love, all these things you kind of brought up. It's like I had to be taught from someone else who was practicing this stuff. You know what? We had a guest on 3 weeks ago, Zach, and I've quoted this already more than once, but he brought up because he didn't share something on Facebook because he thought it wasn't valid. It was an accomplishment he made in his life. It was simple as I found out how to drink water. Like, that's simple.
That's huge.
But he did not post it because he was like, shit, my friends are posting about graduating college or buying a house or getting married or having kids. And he's like, no, like he was embarrassed or whatever the case. But then he realized after the fact, like, that was an accomplishment he made and that could have helped somebody.
Absolutely.
Him holding that back may have there could have been someone out there that was in the same shoes, like shit, I just figured out how to take care of nourishment, and they're over there embarrassed about it, and someone else that would post something like that, like they realize, shit, that is an accomplishment. Like Derek shares about it every time he gets clean time. It's like, you don't negate the clean time. You don't put down any good accomplishments we've made in recovery. But like Elaina was saying, in early recovery, that shit's hard to see when it's in front of your face. Like, you come in here with these expectations of getting clean, and on one hand, you're like, I'm never going to be able to do it or accomplish it, or, you're so beaten and wore down when you come in here. Then all of a sudden, you're looking at someone who's got a couple years, they look happy, they got a nice vehicle, and you don't, like, when I came in, I was sick. I thought a new vehicle and nice kicks was recovery. I didn't know. And it comes down to that a lot of times, is like attraction rather than promotion, sure, but whatever can keep me coming back until you eventually hear that message. Like, that's what it worked for me.
one of the huge things that both of you guys have met in my life, besides just being there, no matter what, and I shared a bit about this before, Ashley was one of the last people in recovery to still talk to me while I was still out there. Her and our mutual friend Keith, that I was doing a lot of bullshit, so I made it hard, and I didn't reach out.
But I still had to share the hope with you and just know that
Ashley
you were going to be ready when you were ready, and you came back.
She talked to me just about every day. I'd call her.
You
whining
shared that
or-
last week on the show.
But the thing, and Elaina was right there when I came back. Like, hey, where the fuck have you been? Oh, well, I was out dying and well, you're not leaving this time. But the thing that you two have taught me and been huge proponents of, for me at least, is this: that be yourself.
Yeah.
And be okay with yourself.
Absolutely.
And if other people don't like them, fuck them.
That's their loss.
Yeah. And that's for me. I'm super loud. I come in the rooms and I'm yelling.
What?
And I'm screaming.
Wait.
Oh, yes.
You're loud?
And a lot of people look at me. But I don't care. That's who I am. And I'm not going to change that for anybody. If you don't like it, then whatever. But that's who I am. And I speak on this. I embrace it and I love it. And I love who I am today. And I can laugh and I can smile and I can show the gratitude and share it. And that's just who I am.
Well, once you start shadowing who you really are, then you're back to addict behaviors. Like, you're putting on a show or you're trying to impress somebody. For me, what that was like, that's addict behaviors for me, is trying to be someone I'm not.
Yeah.
That's not, like, it took me a while to learn it from some old timers and to see other people like, I'm here to try to figure out who the fuck I am.
Right.
Like, I'm still 3 years in. I'm still trying to figure out who Tim is. I'm learning every day. Like, it's a learning curve for me. Like, we got, hey, Nicole, we got a gang of people.
We have a lot
Carolyn,
of 44 people, you guys. Come on.
times that by 10. That's how many are listed. Just don't show them all. We got about
doesn't-
5,000 people.
Carolyn's in the house. I love you to death.
Oh, hey, Caroline.
Oh, there's my buddy Greg.
Gregors. Oh,
Love you,
Gregors.
JP. Greg Henderson's in the
and
house.
Tim. Oh,
Yeah, Greg's pretty cool.
so you're right. That is a great, that's a great topic, because we come in these rooms, like, a lot of times that's not a topic that we're sharing about. We just come in here and it's right away. Put down the pipe, put down the stem, put down the drink, put down the needle, whatever the case is. We don't explore these other things about, like, self-love. Like, or so how did you word it? Was it not self-care? I keep saying self-care.
Self-love.
Self-love. So I said it right. So for me, like I said, that's huge. Every day, till this day, I'm still figuring out how to love me. Like, it just doesn't happen because someone says, like, Tim, you got to love yourself.
No.
I can be told it till I'm blue in the face, but or until you're blue in the face. I mean,
But it's gonna help you keep moving forward.
got to, because like without having any type of like self care, you gotta love on yourself too. I came in here and you guys loved on me till I could love on myself.
Absolutely.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
what we
Like
do.
that's the gifts of these anonymous programs that I'm part of. Like I share about that every time like I do get clean time or something. It's like I came in here and I didn't know what to do. So everyone in these rooms, like they just loved on me until I could figure it out on my own, and they're still doing it. In return, I get to do that for some newcomer walking through the door.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we got a question from Ryan Davis.
Of course we do.
Of course we do.
Thank you, Ryan.
Hey, he's actually in studio helping us out, being
Yes.
great today, being amazing like
Zach
he
said
always
with
is.
your eyes open. Yes.
I want to give a shout out to JP and hey to our audience.
Hello!
Yeah, to our audience. I just want to let you know all that crap I gave him about the hoodie. I am currently rocking
He's finally got his
a
hoodie,
fresh Hope Dealers
and
hoodie.
he rocks the shit out of it.
So we're gonna.
So-
I'm gonna read John's
So-
statement, then ask Ryan's question because I think it kind of goes that way. And self-love can be something simple like doing laundry or cleaning your
Yes,
vehicle.
I love that.
something that makes you feel better. The small things can be important.
Opening the door for somebody.
Yeah.
Saying thank you and you're welcome to little things. It's just little things.
For me, I had when I'm clean and even sometimes in addiction, not always, I would help. I would do nice things for other people, but it was really starting to treat other people, myself, like I treated other people. And then once I treated myself that way and started, I don't know, loving myself or caring for myself, I was really able to start loving people on a different level. Like, not for selfish reasons.
Was that because
where-
you started transforming? You think like transformating into
Well,
like the
and-
genuine Tad?
I think that might have been. I'm not really quite sure, but for me, this is just what sticks out. So a lot of the things I do, like the help here and this show and just things in the community are, I try and show up how I wish someone would have showed up for me.
Yes.
I
You
try,
really stood on that too, though.
yeah, and that's
Like you really stood on that.
I try
Tad.
and well, I'm not perfect at it, but like, and this is what helps me. If my friends are struggling, if Ashley's having a bad day, I'm like, shit. How would I want my friend to would I want them to do this and then if I don't know, that's the cool thing. I ask them too.
Well, in that same breath, like what Tad's saying is, like he does this in all aspects of his life, and
The
what I
best of
want
my ability.
Okay, well, what I want to bring up is like when we were on that car ride home from Fargo, like he shared to me like the reason he's so involved with 2218 is that same that ideal that he's talking about. It's like he saw they were doing certain things that just he wasn't
I wasn't treated a certain way at one point, and some people were mean to me here.
And what'd you do? You wanted to come back. You finally got over it and came back and said, "I want to make it so no one has to
And
feel
there-
the way I did."
There was some things in one of the meetings I went to that I didn't like. There was some branding of addicts, and it was an old school way of thought. And it wasn't. You know what? It just was what it was. And I left. I complained. I fought the old way I did. But you know what? Finally, some of my mentors were like, "Fucking
Change it.
do something
Yeah.
about it.
Yep.
Be involved."
Right.
Like no, and being involved doesn't mean going to the board, going to squad council, and bitching and
Go
whining.
change it
You
yourself.
Shut up. You put your big pants on and you set an example.
Right.
And that's I try and do that.
No, you do it. And like you're sharing about, you love on others the way you want to be loved on. That's just, I believe that goes hand in hand with what Elaina brought up. It's like, it might be hard to do in early recovery because you don't know how to love yourself yet.
Well, and then eventually that led to like what Aaron's talking about. Him and several other people were like, "Why is this going on?" And why? And I'm like, "Dude,
Right.
I'm trying to do it." But I'm one person.
You put
and-
one foot in and all of a sudden you're the guy.
Yeah,
They all
and,
coming to
well,
you.
no, and they were complaining, and I had this conversation with Aaron and another friend of ours, and it was, "Hey, man, you know what? Get on squad council. Get involved. Help me. I need
Right.
more people to help. I can't do it by my. Get involved." And I told them the same thing. Put your money where your mouth is. Learn about it, and do it. And part of that, when you do get involved in anything, you got to shut up and listen. And
Yeah.
unless you're super fortunate and blessed where you just get handed a position of leadership where there was no accountability and there's no manual and then you got to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, and that's kind of hard to do.
But
To try to figure it out on your own. And you went off of, okay, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to do it the way I want it to be done to me.
But I had 150 people in this program, so it wasn't as hard. It was only as hard as I made it. Every time I asked, like when I first got, I would ask Ashley how to handle conflicts. I've asked Elaine, I've asked everyone in this room how to handle situations, and maybe I didn't listen to their advice at first, And
Which is crazy because I never knew how to handle situations like conflicts and stuff like that. I was an evil person. I fought all the time, but now I have gratitude in my life, and I keep it simple, and just know just to take a breath or to say the Serenity Prayer and do things a different way. So yeah.
and like you two have helped me, and what Cheryl said, like
Cheryl hit it right on the head.
Yeah, it's not about being right, but each one person needs to take a step and do the next right thing, and that's what we've done here at the club. This club is moving towards the next century.
Yeah.
And it's not just been me. It's not.
Well,
just
here's the
been
direct
Eric.
result.
It's been Cheryl, Scott. It's been all of
Exactly.
us.
But
working
here's the
together.
direct result of you guys doing that. I'm here now. And the reason I'm here now is because I saw what you were doing.
Well, there's our buddy JP. He wouldn't come here before because of
There
the way
you go.
it was, and he loves this place now, and he sees what we're doing. Is it perfect? No, but and there's plenty of us that didn't come here. To you guys didn't used to come here to
Right.
meetings at all, and you even Sydney raised his hand.
Well, like I've been coming here since day one of recovery, but just not as much, and I just wasn't involved. I didn't want to be involved. I just wanted to come hit a meeting and leave. Now I see things that I enjoy and I want to be part of, and hence the show. Hence moving forward with projects, rebuilding the stage, doing all sorts of things to be part of. This is a nice place to do that at. It's like, yeah, Cheryl hit it. She just worded it perfectly.
Well, I like what Ryan said. We intuitively know how to. So I'm going
Handle
to spin that
situations
into a
stressful.
question because I want to get our guests involved because I feel like I've been talking way too much.
Well,
No,
I know
not
both of
that.
these girls. I know both these girls, and they know how to
I
speak
know,
up.
I know.
Hey, pretend it's just the four of us. Get to talking, girls.
right.
You
So-
on the show now?
I just cut you guys off.
Yes.
Like, hey.
Yes.
That's
what we're here to chop it up.
All right, what's your question?
Okay.
Say it with a little less.
We intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us. We could go a million directions with that. We could. So when
That
did
wasn't a question though.
I'm making it a question.
Yeah, he's flipping it. He's flipping it.
I love you two so much.
Hi, Heidi.
So when did you and your recovery start intuitively knowing? Did it happen instantly, or did you have to? Did things have to?
Do you remember the point it happened, or
or
like
why, or what got you there?
speak on it?
So that's just it. We can know how to handle situations that used to baffle us, but those situations might come up now in today's world that we're living, and we still might not know how to handle them.
Yeah.
We might still have episodes where we get really angry and we have our friends talk us down. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because this recently happened to me. I'd have
Like
some friends
recently.
I'd have some friends talk me down and remind me who I am and who I have become in recovery. And unfortunately, it was a lapse in my judgment. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes we make mistakes, but then we learn and we grow from them as we keep doing this.
Do you feel at the end of the day with what you just said, you still have to be open to listening? Like when you're hot and pissed off at situations and stuff, and like you're inside your head, and then you got your friends like, look how far you've came. Why do you want to like? Is there a time where you're just so pissed off you just can't even hear them, or you choose
Absolutely.
not to?
Yes,
Absolutely.
And you know what? If you heard my sponsor has used this example a million times. That when you're hot and you're heated about something, I'm gonna call Ashley and I'm gonna get Ashley's input on that, and Ashley's gonna tell me, "Oh, girl, don't worry about it." Well, when I don't like that conversation, I'm gonna call Tad, and I'm gonna wait for Tad to tell me that
Someone to co-sign your
something
bullshit.
that I want to hear, and then I'm gonna call.
Right.
Then I'm gonna call Jesse, and Jesse's gonna say, "Oh, let's go deal with this stuff right now," and that's the person I'm gonna listen to.
Damn,
But at times,
had
too,
no idea
if I don't
that
want
you
to
were
hear
such a
anybody
shit.
in my
It's gotten
head,
better.
if I don't want to hear anything, then I just go take a pause and I take a step out and I go for a walk or something like that. And
But
then
how
when
long
I
did it take you to figure out that?
it took a
method?
while. It took a while.
It does take
and
a
I've
while.
I've heard it and I've heard it and I've heard it and I didn't listen. But then I started listening. I was like, wait, that actually works.
Right. And that's the reason I asked Elaina that was
Yeah.
because I noticed for myself was like I've got so many people in my corner that when I have a problem, like I sometimes just want to bitch. Like I just want to complain. I'm not looking for anyone to give me answers or co-sign bullshit. But a lot of times I just won't even listen to the right advice because I'm too closed off and pissed off.
Yeah.
Like
It's when you take a break and a pause and just breathe. for a little bit.
Luckily, I will say I have a small group of friends, actual friends that I can contact, and they will talk to me about my issues and my problems that I'm having and give me suggestions that they know will work for me.
Healthy.
And they do.
right.
And they help.
Healthy suggestions.
Dang, that's
Timmy,
that's
you
some
bitch
foul
all
language.
the time. Oh wow.
Okay.
Roll back a little bit. To
We
the-
can't have that type of talk there,
No,
Papa Bird.
absolutely not.
What was it?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Okay, Jacob Johnson. Principles. Oh shit! I said it. Sorry, Jake. Principles before personalities. How do you actually maintain or even practice keeping those principles enforced in oneself instead of reacting with personalities? And also, what do you think would be the best impactful ways to resolve issues amongst other people when you offend them?
Oh.
None of us want to answer this.
Absolutely.
Jacob,
not.
I love you, but I
Right.
don't. Oh.
Tim's busy. He's got
Man.
nothing. to
I
say.
didn't even hear it. Let's reread that so the audience hears it one more time.
Okay, principles before personalities. How do you actually maintain or even practice keeping those principles enforced in oneself instead of reacting with personalities? Also, what do you think would be the best impactful ways to resolve issues amongst other people when you offend them? And I'm sorry I'm laughing. I'm not laughing because this is a great question.
Yeah, I'll answer
I'm
right
laughing.
away.
So
Good, because
Yeah.
I hate this question because I deal with it daily.
I'll answer for me personally. For Timmy J, honestly, how do I actually maintain practicing these things and keeping them enforced? Is trial and error. Just time. Like real as I can be is failures, mishaps, arguments. The times when they say. Like, and you always hear this, like when you're uncomfortable, you're growing. When you're mad or something's bugging you, it's something you're going to learn from. For me personally, these last 3 years, like every trial and tribulation I've had, I've came out on the other side with something. Whether I pinpointed it or not, I've been able to take something away from it and grow. Like I can't just snap right away.
Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I know.
I smell
It's
it.
right here.
Okay.
So, like me personally, that's easy for me. It's taken time, but like I've got people like Tad or Derek or like these people we've had on the show. I reach out like instantly. Of course, I want to snap. I want to lose my shit. That's just
Right.
human nature. When something really gets to me, but I have to like you said, take a pause.
So, as a guy who still, by some people, is known as someone who snaps and I don't snap really that much anymore. Privately, yeah, that's different.
Yeah, you're right.
When I let out and see, it's just like that. Tim gives me this look, and it makes me feel a certain way because I'm insecure about it because it was an issue, and it's like, so when people say that, and I'm insecure about it because I'm conscious of it, but I can honestly say like. I try not to publicly snap. Am I perfect?
No, you're right. You don't though, Tad.
Privately, and then like when people, and this is where I get insecure, and I'm not picking on Tim. I just want to point this out, and I got to get. It's a me issue because me and Tim have had this issue, so I'm just gonna talk it out. And it's like, so Tim will say that, and I'm like, but Tim gets to vent to me. Tara gets to. You guys get to act that way, and I don't. I have to be perfect, and it's me getting in my pity party in this high horse, and like I do get to do that. And here's the deal: if I don't like I have certain friends that I can't vent to or talk to because it just they hype me up and they're not in the solution or they co-sign my shit.
Right.
And
that can get dangerous.
Yeah, if I want that, and and like because
It's good that you know that though.
Well, and Elaina
Yeah,
said it.
yeah.
She'll call A, B, C until
Yeah.
she gets what she wants. We're addicts. We're good at knowing
So
how to get
Absolutely.
vindictive.
I have seen everyone at this table, and I'm including Sydney too. I have seen all of us handle this principal personalities wonderfully and help someone else handle it. And I've also seen all of us fall on our face.
Okay,
He ain't talking about me.
So one of the things that I've learned with principles over personalities and all that is that I use that in the rooms. When it comes to other aspects of my life, that comes back to my self-love thing. where you have to be careful with the company that you keep. You're
Right.
not going to keep somebody around that keeps putting you down
Yeah.
and doing stuff like that. You're going to want people in your circle and in your life that uplifts you, that tells you about your accomplishments, not keeps bringing up your past and the things that you used to do.
Right.
Or even not just with you, but if you witness people doing that about other people, like
Yes.
talking down on other people, like those are people like I don't want in my life. It's like
Right.
I don't want the negativity.
Like
I
that
don't-
person
Yes.
that the second you walk away, they're like, you see her jeans and start talking
Yeah,
shit.
like,
What do you think
no.
happens when you walk away?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I would rather have a small circle that uplifts me than have 100,000 friends that put me down about something. That's not what I want in my life.
Well, and get
Absolutely.
yourself or this is what one of the things I did. I had myself a solid friend. I don't know if reserve's the right way to describe him, as he's sitting behind our keyboard, being quiet.
Oh, Sid gives off straight
Sid-
information.
yeah, yeah.
He's good.
So, like early in my recovery, me and Sid were like comic book buddies, and I would go up to Sid with I was super involved, and when I'd see him, I would go up to him and unload all my bullshit on him in like about 5 seconds. I'm like, this is what's going on with the club, and this and this and this, and Sid would let me go, and he'd be like, but you're staying sober, and that's hard. And like I get it, and he'd give me a little sympathy, and then
He's
he'd be
good
like,
at it.
and then he'd be like, hey, let's talk about comic books. Let's talk about what we like. Let's not talk about the bullshit.
That's
And like
awesome.
he was, and because I would keep winding myself up, and I didn't know that, and I didn't, later I learned that if I keep talking about the problem, I'm going to keep living
yeah,
in the
you
problem.
got
and I have
stay.
start
Bob
talking
says.
about the
Bob
solution.
Schill says it. Stay in the solution.
What?
Like
I mean,
stay, and you say it, Ted. You've really started saying that a lot lately. Is we got to stay. You came into a big issue here at the club with some old timers, and what'd you do? You brought it to them, like, you guys, we got to stay in the solution. What are you doing? It's easy to fall back into that shit.
Well, and here's something that I think you two will appreciate. Timmy might give me a dirty look for this. So I used to think that principles before personalities meant that I had to use my principles and not let my personality show unless you were wrong, and then I could let my personality overtake because I had a bigger personality. If you, and y'all know that from knowing me. That's how I used to operate. And I try not to operate.
That's right, Greg. You're right.
And I like what Ryan said because that you.
Okay, so we need to go to Ryan's question there.
Yeah.
Which one? He's
Hi,
got-
Katie.
That one right
I love
there.
you, Katie.
You both being ladies that aren't afraid to speak your mind, how do or did you get to the point where you weren't afraid or worried about what others thought? That's great.
Does that even ever go away?
Okay, so you go first, Ashley.
Ashley,
You go
you're up.
first.
Me personally, I don't think I really ever worried about what other people thought about me.
I can totally hear that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I told her that last time.
So you don't?
No, I've always been my own person, and like I just speak my mind, and people are gonna like it or they're not. But I've never
So,
really
like,
cared about what other
at
people
night,
thought
you
about
don't
me.
go home and get in your head about that shit?
Absolutely not.
Really?
No.
Jesse, she bullshitting.
No, I think
That's
true.
awesome.
I think
No,
Elena's
I
kind of
don't.
the same way too.
Let's go.
So
We're honest here. Like, we could be helping someone.
So there's certain points when you should speak your mind and certain points where I have to count to 50 before I speak
That's
my
a
mind.
high-ass number.
That is a high.
Sometimes it's a little higher, but John, my buddy John that I've known since we were teenagers, he's like, Elena's always been that way. There's a point in my life when I was younger where I was that way. I always spoke my mind. I always said the things the way they are. But then there was a point in my life during my addiction and being married to my ex-husband and stuff like that where I wasn't allowed to talk like that, because if I talked like that, I was shamed. I was treated bad. I was everything. So I was a very introverted person with the way that I would say things because I didn't want to feel the wrath of the words that came out of my mouth. But now, as I'm in recovery and I'm actually doing the steps and working my steps, and I've found myself and I have that self-love for myself, I'm not afraid to speak what I need to speak because it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm not being me, then I'm still wearing that mask.
Absolutely.
That's covering up, and it's not the COVID mask. It's the hiding yourself mask
Yeah.
and who you truly are.
Yeah.
Don't hide behind a mask, because when you hide behind a mask, you're not doing exactly what you need to do in recovery.
That makes sense. I mean, but how long did it take for you to get to that
We're
point?
not going there. I still have my moments.
Okay, so you're still working.
It's always, if you're not in recovery to still continuously learn, then you are not doing it right.
Okay, just asking, babe. Shit, she's about to jap my head.
I think it's time for Elaina to take a pause.
I'm holding a pen. I'm holding a pen.
Cheryl said some really good stuff.
Was it a
can't-
question, or?
No. It was just that I'm gonna go to Jalissa.
Yeah, thanks everyone who's writing. Thank you.
Yep, and we'll try to get everybody. So I'm just gonna kind of paraphrase. So what if some of this, like, is mental illness and trauma? Some of that being hard to say, because that.
Yeah, you're right. No, you
dealt
shared
with
about
this.
it. Yeah,
I dealt with it. So like I was molested as a kid.
Right.
And I hope some of my family that didn't know that is not freaked out. I'm open about it to most people. And I was also I wasn't
nothing to hide.
I wasn't locked in the closet and beat. It wasn't like that, but some of my mom's boyfriends were not nice to me. And me and my dad were assholes to each other. And me and my stepdad fought each other. I was part of the problem. But so I had trauma. And it wasn't like it wasn't like, I'm not going to compare it, but my parent, my mother, so she got adopted. Before that, she had severe trauma. She
Okay.
was adopted at 4. And so I was raised by a parent that lived in trauma.
Right.
And my mom has had so much grief, God bless her heart, and then had to deal,
and then what we put
had
through?
to deal with me and Tara.
Right.
Oh my gosh, and we're crazy.
Trauma is real. You're right, Heidi.
So and most of my family struggles with mental health. I have bipolar. I have severe depression, and I have anxiety too. And so like that stuff did play a big part, especially early in recovery. Because I was either on meds or not on meds, and it's my body's still trying to get used to it. Plus with the mental illnesses, so like it does play in. But I would just say, get with the doctor.
Right.
Get with the doctor.
Right.
Get with a medical professional, and don't ever quit till you figure it out, because there's no. It's called practicing medicine. This is just my opinion, by the way.
Practicing. You're right. My dad. Share on what you're saying.
It's
Go
called
ahead.
practicing medicine because it's never perfect.
Right. They're still trying to
and
figure
they're
it
still
out.
Trying to figure it out. It's not like I can just be like, Tim is
No.
A. Here fixes A. Elena's B.
Right.
B fixes B. Sid is C. C fixes C. You're D. It's not.
And that's
not
scary.
How it is.
You gotta have faith in them.
It's here's Tim. We're gonna try 1, 2, 3,
Right.
5, and maybe it'll get
It's
right.
fucking scary too.
And it's hard. And the one thing that has helped me tremendously through these 20 months has been I have had a therapist. And I stuck with that therapist for the longest I ever had a therapist. And right, I had to find my therapist that I liked first. I fired 3. And I had
Jalissa loves your answer.
so, I mean, and reach out to other people who have some of the same issues, because they're gonna have
Advice.
They're gonna have advice. They're gonna maybe have some things not to do. I mean, because I used to run around telling everyone that I was bipolar and let them know, and I just go on this manic episode
and then not do nothing about it.
or felt that I was being judged more, and maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. Who's to say? And now there are certain people that don't even know I have bipolar, and I'm severely lowly medicated. I take a sleeping pill.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't take any mood stabilizers, but it's monitored. So, and like, it didn't get that way at first.
Right.
I had to be on
What was
medication.
her question? What was that question? Like,
What about
paraphrased.
So if you deal with, like, what about for people with mental health? So if you start dealing with that, you got to attack it on all aspects, I get is my answer. So you do that, and then eventually little baby things too, like, so I could start with Elaina or Ashley because they're my friends and be like, hey, I'm just gonna tell them, like, hey, I'm struggling saying what I really feel, and I'm feeling judged. So I'm gonna try and say 2 things that I honestly feel, and I have my 2 friends to either kind of filter me or be like, well, Dad, that's
Yeah.
A, that's not true. No one thinks that about you. Or B, like, dude, you can't say that.
So, Elaina, what would be your advice for someone that's dealing with mental issues or mental health and like dealing with recovery? Basically, like what Tad's saying, or like what would be if you had a sponsor who's like, hey, we're working the steps together, but I need you to know, like, I'm dealing with some serious mental health stuff, and like I just want to get this recovery thing down. What would your suggestion be to her?
So working with the sponsees that I've worked with in the past, if you're having problems with in your life and things that are in situations, I will never rush somebody to work through what they need to do in the program. You take the program as your own thing. Like, I'm kind of like Tad. I have bipolar. I do not take medications for it because I have a way in my recovery and the things that I've done in life to control it, whether it be meditation or working on my steps
Absolutely.
or going for a walk
Love
in
it.
the woods.
But
Sid shares about meditation a lot
with
too.
that, with having those things, what do you have to do with those tools?
You have to use them. You have to utilize them. You cannot just let them sit there. You can't just grab
Right.
a meditation book and put it on the nightstand next to your bed and think you can read it when you're sleeping.
But I
You
have a book.
to do it.
Hey, I have an app on my phone for meditation, so I don't have to pray.
Right.
It's not like you can
That's
put
like
it
the
up-
attic
Do you
way.
use the app?
You
No,
can't put the big book
it's on your
under your
phone.
pillow
Right.
and think that the knowledge is going to sink into your head.
Right. That's so funny.
And you know what? Another thing that I didn't say that just stuck out while Elaina was talking is, in addition to all the other things I talked about, clean time, keeping the clean time while doing all this stuff, and then working the program on top of all that stuff, it helped fucking tremendously.
So there's been many times during my mental health and whatever else that I've had to put my sobriety, not put my sobriety aside, but put my step work aside so I can work on the mental health issues.
Right.
And then step back into the step work when I knew 100% that I was ready again. Because if you put your mental health separate from everything else, stuff is going to start to build up, and at some point you're going to explode. You're going to explode. It's kind of like today where, I told on myself. I went on Sober and Serious and I posted a post about the fact that I needed to not lie and I needed to tell the truth, that I felt like I was becoming to have a point where I was going to relapse. And it's not that I want to go use, but the moment that you tell on yourself and the moment that you see those signs, that is what gets you going. That's
Right.
what gets you driving back into the program and doing more.
Yeah.
And John said it says mental health shit may come up as we are sober, especially if you've been self-medicating all your life. I personally have been a meth user, or was a meth user, for 18 years. And once I got sober, I thought I was prescribed meds for ADHD. I just had so much energy, I didn't know what to do with it. I was completely lost. But as time grew and I was able to learn the tools like meditating and having God in my life and just being grateful and learning tools and stuff like that, I was able to slow down. I still have a lot of energy, but I'm not as hyper as I was when I first
Wait.
got clean.
Are you telling me you have
Wait,
ADHD?
you're not as hyper? Wait.
No,
have
I don't
ADHD?
think I am. Not from when I first
Well,
got
no,
sober.
I relate because people who just
I
meet
was
me think I'm a
all
ball
over the
of
place.
energy. And
Yeah.
you remember how I was.
Yeah.
And I remember you're not wrong.
no.
You're not wrong. You're not
Bob
lying.
hit it on the head with that statement. Recovery is a program of action, and that's not just setting down the drug or the drink. Like Elaina said,
Shit's gonna come up.
You got to take action. You might own the big book, but you sleeping on it's not going to do nothing.
John?
You got to do something
I
about
love you, Bob.
John.
it. Yeah, well, he said mental health shit may come up as we are sober, especially if we've been self-medicating our whole lives. This could be the first time our brains are actually the way God intended for them, not distorted or blurred. It's it's a good point.
And it takes time.
But
It
like
does
Bob,
take
you got to
time.
take action.
Yeah.
Okay, if there is some serious mental health, you got to seek something other than your own devices. I can't self-diagnose my mental health.
No.
I just can't.
So how long do you have clean again?
I have 32 months. I have just today. 32.
That's my girl. But
no,
others
no,
need to know
I
what
get-
they can achieve.
No.
Yeah, I've been sober since May 26th of 2018.
Okay, and would you say stuff still comes up? And you're now finding out stuff that you didn't know about before?
Absolutely. Remain teachable. I learn stuff every day.
And Elaina, you have 2 years?
I have 25 months today.
And would you say that you're finding out new stuff and stuff still comes up today?
Every day. Every minute.
Yeah, me too. Tim, you have about 3 years, right?
3 years on Sunday.
3 years on Sunday.
Oh, wait, we don't front time.
Yeah,
No,
we don't
we
front
don't
time.
No one was
time.
trying to front. Okay, I've got 2 years, 363 days.
Oh, okay, that's better.
I think, right? What's 2 days minus 365? That's it.
Okay, anyways, Tim, would you say that new stuff is still coming up and you're
I
still
just
dealing
shared
with
it in the earlier. I'm figuring out I got to watch my mouth. I'm figuring out who I am today. I'm still learning every day. I'm still having F-ups every day. I'm tripping over this thing of recovery. Like, I just know, like Bob said, I have to take action. I can talk about the shit till I'm green, but it's not going to help. I need to reach out to you. I have to take action in this thing of recovery.
Oh, man.
Work with others. Just keep doing the shit our predecessors have taught us. What do we got? Love you as well. Tim,
read
you.
that.
Oh.
Don't read that.
Oh, Jalissa.
the legend of
Jalissa. I am a wordsmith. Let's keep it at that.
Well, and for our audience, just to put context to that comment, it's because Tim said it live on the air by accident on our first show. Because he didn't know. So, like, I'm not on the microphone right now. I have my head turned, and he said some stuff to our sponsor, and he didn't know that. He didn't know that it would still be on the air. And Eric's over there going, no, that was live on air, buddy. And it was amazing.
So Bob also wrote, we need to help point out the ones who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders in the right direction to where they can get help. That's the whole networking thing. Yeah. Like, people do care about others. There are some people in here who really are genuinely, like, invested in my recovery. I've learned that through trial and error. Like, some people, we said it before, some people don't want to see me healthy. Tad said it right away. He's like, there's people that like, they not get off on it, but to see I'm still sick and struggling, it gives them some type of way of feeling better. Like, there's some sick fucking people out here that we deal with. People are coming through these doors, can talk a good game, but they're not walking for shit. Like, they're just coming in here to talk. And we see it all the time. Like, people are going to go back out.
Yeah.
And that's a shitty fact that I learned quick. Like, I made friends, like, right away. Like that dude said, I'm not that dude. One of our listeners, he wrote, like, you know what? Once our heads finally clear up for the first time, we start realizing basically who we are. Like, I didn't know who I was for many of years. Like, since early teenage years. I'm sure there was, like, glimpses and little time periods where, like, I'm pretty sure I knew who I was, but so many years of just drinking and drugging and not truly figuring out who I would be, because maybe for a few weeks I was good, but then I go back out, or whatever the case is, you don't know who you really are. And now all of a sudden I'm 2, 3, 4 months, 5 months, a year goes by, like, I'm figuring out who I am. Then all of a sudden I'm trying to get healthy and start working on all these things on myself. But then I'm making friends with other people who are coming in. I still don't know how to make healthy friend choices. You know what I mean? Like, I'm coming in here just that pink cloud shit. I had that for over a year. I was just bubbly dumb. Like, oh, hey, I'm Tim, alcoholic addict Tim. Come on, let's go hang out. Like, I maybe have 2 friends today from the first year and a half of recovery. And, like, they're solid ass friends. Like, but I had like 50 friends, like, we're fellowship, you know, I just always, half of them are dead because we don't come back. A lot of people they don't come back after they go out.
It's super sad. Because there is a solution and there is a program and it does work if you work it, but a lot of people are just scared or don't know how, or don't know how to reach out or even get out of themselves, and it's sad to see. But you have to be that hope for everybody that don't know what hope is, and it's just helping people that need help.
Right.
But no, we can't help everybody.
No. Well, and who shared about that? I think it was Tara shared about that. She's like, and I just use it all the time. It's like, when you got a sponsorship, relationship type deal, and people, are you okay? Is it hot? Super hot?
It's fine. I'm trying not to crunch in the mic. Sid knows exactly what's going on.
I was doing that earlier. So it's like, I can't do push-ups hoping your arms get big. Like, I can't do your recovery. I can't.
I wish it worked that way.
Me too.
When I first got sober, I wanted to save the world. I was like, if I can do this, everybody can do it. Let me just save everybody. But then I realized, like, unless you are 100% ready to do this, there's nothing I can do for you.
Right. No, and you know what? And I hate bringing it up, but it's like I had a brother in active addiction, and he died. Like, that was in my first year of recovery. And I was like that. Like you're saying, like, I had found it. Like, I'm over here, and you know what? I was an addict, a really terrible addict. Like, I was going to die. My choices was going to lead me to where my brother is. Like, it was bad. And I just wanted to like tell everyone, like, hey, look, you can recover. Like, this thing's out here and it's free. Are we all good?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, all right.
We're good.
All right.
Crystal, I love you.
I want to do a shout out really quick, Tim, to my buddy Crystal, because
Yeah, I heard she's got some dogs I want.
she said it's really hard to come back. And Crystal was one of the people when I started drinking and doing things like that because I thought that, I was a drug addict and I could still drink alcohol. She told me that someday you would figure it out, and I figured it out, and she was there with me the entire time. She never walked away from me.
She's the first person I ever heard speak at SNL.
Oh, I love.
She was. I heard her story.
I love Crystal. She was always there when I was in the middle of my
So glad to
relapse.
see
She
her on
brought me
here.
to a couple
Yep.
meetings.
We love you, Crystal.
Yes,
Crystal,
love
you
you,
are-
love you.
My redheaded mama.
Crystal's a shit, dude. She's just an awesome lady. She helped me out a lot. And there's a lot. It's not just Crystal. There's a lot of people in this program that do that. And you never know how you can change someone's life just by being there for them and working this program or being nice. Becky's a really old friend of mine too. I don't mean that she's old. I just mean we've been friends a while. I'm just messing with you, Becky.
We can carry the message, but not the addict. I like that.
Yeah.
So, what I was trying to say basically is that when we find recovery, we work recovery, we do it. You can't make anyone else do recovery. You can't make others want this.
You can't flip that switch either.
No.
The things.
And I learned it hard. That's what I was getting at earlier. It's like I learned a hard lesson. Like in the middle of my pink cloud, I was like, no, dude, it's free and you can have it. That don't matter. Left and right. We just buried someone last month. You know that. And it's fucking a real, true fact when it comes to addiction. People die.
And now I'm holding him around my neck with ashes in it.
Right.
It's sad.
Yeah. And that's a fact of life. And it's like, I've said this almost every week. It's like I want to grab people and just shake the shit out. I'm like, look, it's right here. It takes a little work. Like not even a little work. Like it's for free too. Like if you got an extra $1, you throw it in the basket. I'm drinking their coffee anyways. Who cares? It's $1. Like I think about that with some of this literature. People are having a tough time. Like, oh, $10. Like, dude, $10? And they're telling me this book will save my life? $10 ain't shit. I was coming up with
And if you
50 to
don't-
100
if
a
you don't
day.
have the money, somebody will buy you a book.
100%. If anyone needs literature, come see me. I will buy you it.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, and it's those little things, like you said, Tim. Like, for me, my big thing was when I got in here is I had to find something to be accountable. So I wasn't ready to have a phone at first. So my first thing
Right.
was, and then when I got a phone, I decided that I wasn't going to have internet at first. And then I went to the sober house and I only used the Wi-Fi when I was at the sober house. So, and that was how I operated until I thought I could handle the internet. And, asked him, he thinks I'm always on my phone because I am. But
Yeah, but you always got things going on. You're busy. You know you are.
I know. Yeah, but it feels like to me that so I'm always doing stuff, and he's not wrong about that. Like I'm doing sober stuff, I'm doing some business stuff on the phone, and then when Tim looks at my phone, it's the first time I go to check the score of the game, and he's like, "You're a liar." He's
My thing
rimming
is
me.
I'm still real selfish, and I've got a problem with bondage of self. So when I'm with someone and I yell at my mom, if she's listening,
What?
she is, like I yelled at her today. Like she's like, "No, I'm listening." But when your head's down, like this is just like common sense, like communication skills. It's like, okay, I understand you can listen to me and pay attention to me, but when I'm looking at you and talking and your head's in a phone, regardless of, I get caught up in self. I'm like, bullshit, you're listening.
Well,
You yelled at your mom?
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry, Mom.
we're sorry, Mom.
I did Tad too. Like Tad will carry on a conversation with me, but he's also multitasking in the phone, and I'm just like, come on, bro. Like, no, dude, I got more important things going on than what's in your phone. He's like, and then it turns into a little. He bites my head off, and he's right. Like
Well, the one time some dude was talking about talking through some bad, and I'm like, okay, Tim, and I totally, oh man, I was.
But
so
then
big.
again,
and another time
like
he was
Ashley
right.
shared,
I was playing
Ashley
fantasy
shared,
football.
and Derek shared too. It's like sometimes we need to get off that shit, the social media, and being up all and that. Some of that shit's not good for us.
Yeah.
I get caught up in that TikTok, boy, man. I get caught up on that shit.
I have never been on TikTok.
Don't
Me
do
neither.
it.
Me
Love
neither.
never.
It's too great.
I've
It's
been
awesome.
on Facebook
I mean-
for 2 weeks and I absolutely love it.
Oh, I almost said something.
Well,
I was gonna say. Apparently, I've been on TikTok, but I've never been on TikTok.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Stop.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just on TikTok last night with some friends bowling. We were doing some dancing, I guess.
We were just standing
Oh,
there.
it was with you. Yeah, we nodding our head or something. I don't know what we were doing.
Yep, Crystal, you're 100% right. We got to stay connected. Like, and it's
Yeah,
easy to
I'm actually
forget
pretty
that.
sure he kidnapped me. He was like, "What are you doing standing there? I have to be a part of this." Pretty much is what happened.
You start getting a couple years on your belt, and you
Oh,
forget
man.
these things that have carried us so long. Like, we've made it this far with these things we've been doing, and all of a sudden, it's easy to just forget about it. Like staying connected or reaching out. You get comfortable.
So, Ryan,
He's got another question.
how do you not give up on yourself? I've been going through a lot lately, and other than reaching out, do you have any other suggestions? So first, before we get into this, I want to point something out to Ryan. Hey, he's in studio.
Yeah.
He comes to these. You've been coming to meetings. You've taken a lot of the suggestions on this show from the comments from the people. You're doing it.
He's our little
Yeah.
success story.
You're doing it,
When
Ryan,
you're struggling,
right now.
you talk about it and you bring it up to people. You don't just let it sit in your head.
So-
You talk about it and get suggestions, whether you take it or not. But we're here and you listen.
You're doing it right now, and you continue to do
Yeah.
that. And when you feel like giving up, like I shared with you, I don't always want to be Tad. I don't always want to do this stuff. Elaina, do you always want to do your responsibilities?
No.
Do you want to go? Elena's on the board at another Alamo Club. Do you want to do that?
Actually,
Always?
yes.
all right,
Always-
but was it all the butterflies and sugar syrup you thought?
It is not the all butterflies, but let me just tell you the whole
Responsibility sucks.
it's not, and it's not even the responsibilities. It's when you come into the program, you're not just here to get better and work your steps. You're here to do even more, and doing more is service work. When I first came into the program in 1996, I emptied ashtrays. I made
Yeah.
coffee. I washed tables. And then as years gone by, I chaired meetings and I did things where I brought young people to Gopher State. I missed one Gopher State since 1996, and it was this last year because of COVID. There are so many things that you can do. So the next thing in my recovery, I ran for the board.
It's awesome.
And this is going to be a 2-year commitment that's going to not just be for other people, it's for myself.
Yeah.
It's for my inner self to know that I am stepping up to do more than just show up at a meeting.
And when you do, this is me speaking now, Tad speaking. When you do that, it's not always fun, but it's helpful, and you learn a lot about yourself when you get into I went into some service commitments like that thinking one way, and I learned about the process, I learned about myself, and I learned who I was and who I had to become, not just to better help other people, but to be a better person. I think Sydney's got something.
Yeah, that's a great question. How do you not give up on yourself? And that's the thing, is that our inner addict wants us to give up. That's the only reason. That's the only way that they can come back. you know?
Right.
And so that's why we have to just not give up on ourselves, because that's not us. That's the disease telling us. You know, it's like, I love, old timers would say, my disease is out in the parking lot doing push-ups right now. You know, and I used to think that was like kind of corny, but it's so true. I mean, my disease wants me to use, you know, but that's why I can't. My disease is my enemy. My inner addict is my enemy.
What do they say? Don't leave before the miracle happens. I mean,
And always remember where you came from. Always.
Absolutely.
Always remember where you came
well, and
from.
I think, like, as I sit at the table with the four of you, Tim, Elaina, Ashley, and Sydney, like, I think, and Tim, we weren't great friends in the beginning, but now you're one of my biggest cheerleaders. Like, surrounding yourself with those people, because you guys were always, like, even when I was on my bullshit, you guys were always cheerleading for me and supporting me in a positive way. And whether it was just a shoulder to whine on, or, you know, telling me to pull my head out of my ass, or just being there for me and having
Genuine.
positive people. Because and that's, like I said, I surrounded myself with I started hanging out with people with 10, 20 years of sobriety. Like, I worked with the guy for a while because that's what I needed. I needed men with that quality time, because I didn't know how to fucking act right. I didn't know how to live right. I didn't know how a 35-year-old man needed to act. I didn't. I honestly didn't.
Right. And that happens.
I had to be showing.
Dude, you started at 12 years old, 10 years old. You have never given your a chance to live.
And sometimes I still have to be reminded how to act right.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's unfortunate that we end up where we're at, but like someone was just sharing, like, our past does not define us. It doesn't make you who you are. We can't forget about our past, but it's got to stay where the word
In
is.
the past.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like one of the readings in one of these programs talks about like just for today, I got to have faith that there are people here that want to see me succeed in my recovery. Like, I'm not wording it right. I just tortured it. But I shared about this at Blaine Alleno. Like, I have to have faith that I'm around people who want to see me in recovery and recover. Like, that's what you guys are here for. Like, this whole two-stepping network of fellowship is like, I need you guys to help me succeed. Like, I lean on you guys so I can succeed. It's a big weight, but I got to spread it out sometimes. Or like Elaina said, like, get a core group of people that you can trust. You're not going to find it overnight. Like I said, I went through 50 friends in the first year, and now I came out with two.
Yeah,
two
you
of those
might
people.
have to plug and play.
Yeah, it's going to be like not a trial and error, but you like I said earlier, like you're going to have some failures. You're going to have some really terrible growing pains throughout this.
Yep.
But as long as you're like your eye is on the prize, like we're here for recovery. Like the basis of this show is like there is a better way to live, like attitude for gratitude. Dude, we're at the top of the hour.
Yep.
So real quick,
Cheryl posted just a reminder about donations for 2218. You can read her comment and go to www.2218elano.org or do that one, Tim.
Yeah, or you know what, you can get on the Facebook page, 2218 Facebook page. We will promo it at the end as well. Thank you, Cheryl, for putting that link up. We appreciate it very much. Jane, the cafe, I saw her today. She's back.
Yeah.
Our little cook is back. We had lasagna on Monday, I think, and then we just had.
She just ordered pizza for people tonight.
Yeah, well, all I can say
not
is,
just. She
no,
ordered pizza
and it
for
was-
people tonight,
yes.
and she made some great cake.
and it's like this: $5. You're getting a full dinner, a full MF and dinner. Like, I always keep going back to this one: biscuits and gravy, homemade biscuits, homemade gravy, sausage gravy. We got like vegetables, we got cake, we got Jello, we got coffee, water.
Wednesday, I had a meatloaf.
Yeah, come on! It's like for $5 you can't beat it. No one's doing that right now. Like
I got like 2 giant slices
So
of meat. Oh.
Jamie mentioned something. Fellowship in sobriety is huge. And it
Yeah.
absolutely is. The first year of my recovery, that's what I did. I built my foundation and fellowshipped and met people, went to every event you can think of possible, and that's all I did. I didn't have a job. I didn't do anything. All I did was just meet people in the program and to build that foundation in my life. And today I'm truly grateful for all the people that I have in my life because I'm not alone. And I
Right.
used to always be alone. When I was in my active addiction, I was alone constantly, all the time. And today I don't have to be alone, and I'm truly grateful for that.
Did you get criticism for not having a job and just focusing on your recovery ever? And how did you deal with that?
No, I did not.
Because I did it.
I did.
I
I still do. I get people who throw it in my face like, well, you're at your mom's. You can do that. You sit in your mom's basement. Like,
Yeah.
people throw that shit in my face all the time. But honestly, that's their
people,
issue.
Yeah, a lot of people helped me. They helped me with rides. They helped me if I didn't have money for food or anything like that. But that's what I do today in my recovery. Now I help people get to meetings.
Yeah,
I help
yeah,
people with rides. I pay for
absolutely.
people for food if they don't have no money. So I'm that person that they were there for me when I needed it.
Right.
So
That's one of the biggest things I got out of like early recovery is a lot of the old timers. My sponsor, he was real big about that. Like he took me out of town. He paid for air. He wouldn't let me pay for it whether I had the money or not. Like my sponsor, he did that stuff for me and just showed me. And nowadays, people know that they get rides home from me. Like I have a van. I give people rides. We'll Work for Recovery is real big about that. Like at the beginning of every meeting, they're like, "Who needs a ride home?" And
Yeah.
they stop the meeting to make sure like we network to get rides home. But like Ashley's saying, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Like if you can help early recovery, there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
You got to just you show up, suit up, boot up. Like
Yeah.
that's it. And then once you start, getting a little life behind you and some recovery, you can start helping others. And that's what I've been taught to do. And that's what I do.
I should say maybe people did say stuff, but they never said anything to my face. Maybe it was said behind my back that I was, but nobody ever said anything to me.
Yeah, they were probably, unlike Tim and myself, they were probably scared of you.
Yeah.
I was there for your 1 year. I remember everyone coming up. Yeah, and Ashley was the most scary person ever. She's not like that anymore.
Oh, she's always been friendly from what I know.
I'm super friendly, but I guess I have that rub off that I'm very evil and mean sometimes. I don't know.
And used to be.
Yeah.
No, you're a sweetheart.
Did you guys have another subject you wanted to share about?
Yeah.
Before we get into the dirty dark?
I think Elaina still had like.
I do. I still have a few things about this self-love thing.
Quit letting us cut you off, girl.
Well, stop. So another thing that I remember is that I try to do with self-love is no negative self-talk. I try not to talk down about myself because that's really not good for you. It's not going to help your self-esteem. It's not going to do anything. So you have to remember things. Like they tell you to do. Stand in front of the mirror and tell you that you love yourself until you believe it. Stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself that your hair looks good until you believe it. Like there's so many things that you have to keep doing to remind yourself that you are enough. You are enough. I have a tattoo on my arm, you guys, that says I am enough because I know deep down inside of me I am enough, and I'm enough for myself. Right. Who cares what other people think? What other people think is their issue. They're the sick individual that needs to figure out what they're missing in their life.
I remember when I was in treatment, the first time I ever told myself that I was beautiful when I looked in the mirror, and I absolutely cried after that. I was like, what the hell? Because I was never able to say that, and I never loved myself. But that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, this is where the loving myself, it started, and it just grew. But I cried after I said that. I was like, wait, what?
But it was a healthy cry.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So this last time in treatment, there was a guy, he was a tech there. We're actually friends now. He's moved out. And he gave me a Post-it note, and he said at least one a day, but before you leave treatment, I want your wall covered in these little, and they had to be positive, and I had to come up with, I think it was actually 5 a day, like what you're talking about. And so I had that wall covered with like 300 positive self-talk, because I had such negative self-talk, as a lot of us do. And a buddy of mine was, he was in that room after me in the treatment center, and he was like, I was finding them for a month, and he's like, I kept them and put them on my stuff. But so, like us, what I would say is like, yeah, and it seems silly when you do it, but it has a huge impact. This positive.
It does.
Like
positive affirmations,
and you doing and us doing this stuff for ourselves shows some other people who were where we were at, or who don't think it's possible, that it's possible. Like them watching us.
Yeah.
Oh, this brings me up. Doing this podcast, this like brings my spirits up. This does one of those spiritual fulfillment deals. Like this fills up my gas tank, however you want to look at it. It helps.
I like that. That's cool. I'm going to steal that.
What? Read it.
Yeah.
John says, love it. I have a friend that says, don't talk about my friend like that whenever someone says bad things about themselves. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is good. That's real good.
I like that.
Oh my God, John, I love you.
Matter of fact,
I don't know why I gave John a weird southern accent. I almost started doing it.
Our friend Brian, or Beefy, he really just like 2 weeks ago got down on me about something like that. Because I said something joking like, oh, me and my fat ass. He's like, Tim, I don't like when you put yourself down. Like, I thought he was joking, but he was serious. He was like, stop doing that. And I've had people throughout my recovery do that to me because I'm quick to, I can crack jokes on myself easier than you to get a laugh. But other people, like people who like genuinely care, like, Tim, stop doing that. Like, quit, or like deminimizing, like whenever I'm like, yeah, I only have like 18 months.
It's called getting fed, Tim. Laugh out loud. That's from Bob.
It's called getting
Love
fed.
Bob.
What's that mean?
Because
you were talking
said
about-
you were putting yourself down and calling yourself fat. It's
It's about getting,
fed.
yeah.
Ah, well, whatever. So thanks, Bob. I mean,
He just had a pizza too.
I smashed a pizza. Now I'm choking on it.
Oh, you ate all that pizza?
No, we all did.
I'm
Here's
just
another
kidding.
slice.
I don't need
So
another
like
slice.
that kind of goes hand in hand for me. Like when I used to do this, and Big Dave Robinson would always check me, and I'd be like, I'd give advice and be like, oh yeah, even though I only got like 20 months, he's like, quit downplaying your clean time. Like other people, just don't do that to yourself because you'll start believing it's only 20 months or it's only 3 years. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
24 hours is a big
Yeah, I was
deal.
gonna say, when people come in and say, I only have 2 days, I was like, 2 days is a long time.
2 days is harder to get than 3 years in my mind.
Absolutely.
So Bob, Aaron first says you buy food now, Tim, and Bob clarified and said, I meant by working on your recovery, you are being fed.
Bob, you didn't have to. We know you meant well. I love my Bobby cakes. Although yeah.
Good night, Stoner. I love you.
That'd be bass whacker, Bob.
So wait, there was a spot here that Cheryl said, also giving positives to others is huge. Giving that positive energy brings us back to ourselves also. And that's the last thing that I do is you have to learn how to accept compliments.
Oh, that's
so
hard.
Cheryl's right. Like, I don't accept compliments.
No.
And the last couple days, people have been giving me compliments that make my heart warm. And it's just little things.
Yeah.
It's talking about what I'm doing in recovery and what I'm doing for other people and picking, yes, Aaron, picking others up. Don't put people down, because if you
Right.
put people down, you got to think how that would make you feel when you get put down.
Right.
It's always good to give somebody a compliment. Don't point out their bad
Showing
stuff.
up
Point
how
out
you
their
would want.
awesome stuff.
Can we scroll down a little bit to Mary Lou? She just posted a thing.
That was
Yeah,
a long
the big one?
message.
Yeah, that's it right
All
there.
right, it's gonna go over. Oh, that's
Okay.
MJ. That's Bob's
MJ.
MJ.
Yep.
When you get what you want, or do you
Yeah,
want?
read it.
When you get what you want as your struggle, as your struggle for self, and the world makes you queen for a day, just go to the mirror and look at yourself, and see what the woman has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or husband whose judgment upon you must pass. The person whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring back from the glass. She's the person to please. Never mind all the rest, for she's with you clear up to the end. And you've passed your most dangerous, difficult test. I think what she's saying is take your ass in front of a mirror and you judging yourself, you talking to yourself. It's like you're the most important one, yourself. Like, we can't forget that. Like, you got to that's like a recovery. Recovery's got to come first. And Elaina broke off the show with the right topic, like self-love. Like, you stand in that mirror. I've never done that. Like, I've never tried that.
Oh, you got to do it.
Oh yeah, now we're all gonna harass you about it. So.
Oh, and I'll do a video. Like,
Oh yeah.
we'll
this
live
is gonna
stream
be
it.
Awesome.
Here's Tim, day one, telling himself he's not tubby and he is pretty. And gosh darn it, I just like myself.
Okay.
And paint my fingernails.
Don't.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't. No.
Oh, we can't giggle. Okay.
Just a
No.
clear enamel coat. No one will know.
Telling someone you're proud of them is amazing. We as addicts don't hear that enough, especially with how hard we are on ourselves.
I absolutely 151,000,000% agree with that. I don't know when it was, at some point since I've been clean, someone, and it was just a friend or someone up on the stage, or I don't even know where it was, all of a sudden looked at me and said, I'm proud of you. And like, it changed me. It did. And, now, like, whenever I'm presenting medallions, when I do it a lot.
Thanks, Chelsea.
I go out of my way to tell people that I'm proud of them. And it's not because I think my opinion matters. It's because I think that we all need to be told that we're proud, because we've lacked that.
Well, yeah.
Or at least I have.
And when it's genuine, when someone's really working on their recovery and really working hard, like, sometimes, they're not coming from a loving family. They're not at a sober house where people are loving on them. It's like, to hear it when they're really working makes difference. Proud of you, Tad. Oh, Aaron.
Yeah, I love
So,
it.
you know what? I shared about this too. It's like the same, to me, it goes in the same category as what Karen, our old counselor, used to say. It was like, when you see someone having a rough day, go ask them a question they know the answer to. And watch how it turns their day around. To have them be able to help someone, and whether you need the answer or not, like, I've shared about this a lot. It's like, ask just something simple to get them outside their self. Then all of a sudden they're helping you. Like, that's a
Right.
big deal for a lot of people. Elaina, what do you think?
I got a message today. I just want to share this. I got a message today. A lot of people reach out to me and say how much I've helped them in the recovery. But I got a message today from somebody that I used with many years ago, and I have not heard from her since. But she messaged me today and she said, "I just want to say how much you blossomed into a beautiful individual, and I'm very proud of you for staying sober and doing good. I know we've had our mishaps in the past, but good job, and it looks really nice, and stay strong." And that meant the world to me. I was like, wait, what? Like, I haven't heard from her in a long time, but just to hear that compliment, to know that I'm doing the right thing and staying on the right path, that means a lot.
Yeah, and it's good to hear it from someone.
Absolutely.
It's like, it meant something to you. You shared
Yes.
about it.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. Is that what we got for self-love?
No, there's
Yeah. Just I don't even know what to say. Seriously, just remember self-love is important. You have to remember, everybody's talking about like going out and doing fellowship and doing all these things. And fellowship is amazing. It really is. But one of the things that I learned in early recovery is that I was pouring myself into fellowship and meetings and recovery. And I was going to 2-3 meetings a day sometimes and still working a full-time job and doing this and doing all these things, just recovery. And it was so overwhelming that I wasn't taking care of myself. So that's why I had to put these self-love things into effect, because I wasn't taking care of myself and I was starting to feel it. I was
Having
starting
a balance
to feel
is super important.
It is important.
I can't relate to that at all.
That's because none of us have the same problems.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
Oh, my
Elena's
God.
problem.
Thank you, Rachel.
No, this not doing the self-love stuff. Fuck, I still struggle with that. I still have to
Really?
be told to do that. You know I do. Because you're one of the people that,
You know what, though?
I was going to say yells at me, helps hold me accountable.
That's what we need.
And,
that's what I need.
I mean, I feel like Sid's been a proponent of this since the beginning of my life. What are you doing for Tad?
Yeah, I
What
want
are
to
you
go
doing
back
for Tad?
to Sid. When you brought him up earlier, it's like, you know what? Tad had hit it on the head. People like Sid, like he's really well reserved. Like I've seen him around here from day one, but like even on the way here sharing, like I brought up some BS about drama, and I'm like, oh, I was quick to tell him, oh, I don't like this, or I don't like being around drama. Like I'll just excommunicate myself from all that shit. And da. He's like, yeah, I don't even deal with it. Like I won't even answer about it, and then just right on to the next subject. Like it's that easy. Like I know it's not BS. People like that. Like Tad said, that's one of his go-to people. And to have like a group, like Elaina said, just a small group of people like that could carry you a long ass way than just being having 100 acquaintances.
Right. And sometimes my group is 2 people, 1 people, and sometimes it's 30 people. Sometimes it's big, and it fluctuates.
And sometimes my group is just myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I am the best company for me at the time.
Right. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. When I first came into recovery, I couldn't be alone. Now I can sit for hours by myself
'Cause it's that
and not
self-love you've
have
learned.
those demons poking at my ears saying, what are we going to do now? No, I can sit
and
in a calm room and be
I'd
just
like
perfect.
to give a big shout out to my cat, because sometimes it's just me and my cat.
Well, you got to Well, you know what? It's not isolating.
I'm dead serious.
Like Elaina, if you're isolating and it's unhealthy. Like inside, They're like that's a big go-to for a lot of addicts. Like they'll just go isolate. Like I know I used to do that in active use. Was just isolate, not be a part of the world. But there is healthy, like you said, you know when you're good and you can be by yourself and things are good. You're with the best company, yourself.
The one thing, we're never alone. God is always with us. We're never alone.
I had to learn the difference between solitude and isolation.
Yes.
That's what I had to learn. And obviously I love solitude because I'm a huge fan of Superman.
You're a dork.
I know, I'm a dork. But no, and that's what helped me figure it out as I started researching what solitude and isolation was. And I used to meditate a lot. I don't so much anymore. But I started figuring out things that I could do that weren't just... Because when I would first get at the end of treatment, guys, when I didn't have the phone and whatever, and people wouldn't always talk to me, I would just stare at the wall. I'm dead serious. And so I
Was it unhealthy, though?
No, but I didn't get any peace from it. Like I just sit in my room and do nothing, and like a bunch of stuff, and like, but maybe I needed that decompression, and like, who's to say if how I'm doing it now is great, because my solitude now is me doing like 13 things at once, like I'm playing video games, listening to a podcast, and sometimes.
But is it manageable?
For me. For me.
Then it's okay.
For me. Until the cat wants me to pet her, but that damn cat. It's actually till the cat gets in front of the TV and stares at me until I start playing with her, and then. But that's when I'm dead serious. That's when I know that I need to take a break and just sit with my cat, because me and my cat have a weird relationship, and she's a sober house cat, so she doesn't always like being touched because she always has 20 people and these personalities. She's been abused. I know she's been, and animals feel emotions, so like I have this weird bond with her because we've now been together for like a year and a half, so we're pretty tight. And like, so she'll sit in front and she'll start tipping stuff over until I pay attention to her. And it's not that she always wants attention, but like if she had
Oh yeah, my dog's the same way.
if she had it her way, I would lay in bed with her all day and
All
feed her
day.
treats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when she's happiest. But
Right.
like, so I'll be doing stuff and she'll just start tipping my shit over. And you know what? I'll
that's
grab
healthy
her.
for you, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll grab her and play with her. But what it does for me is it helps me in this way. And this is, I took a long way here, guys. Sorry. But it helps. So I stop. Well, literally, I'll take my phone, throw it. I'll put my thing. Sometimes I'll even turn the TV off and I'll lay down right with her and I'll stop and take a break. And sometimes that's the only thing that can get me to stop and take a break is that darn cat.
That's so pussy.
Wow, Tim.
I think that's awesome that you can have a cat at the sober house. So that's awesome.
It was a sober
therapy
house
cat,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's awesome.
And we used to have 3 my friend had his own, and he, of course, took his personal therapy cat with him. And then the other one died.
You know what? Like, I think MJ's up there around the 20 piece for years of recovery. Like, she's got a lot of years, and this is just I want to touch on it just so people understand.
I like yeah,
that's
read
Bob's wife. It's like after all them years, like this is just to tell you, like
She still struggles
It
with
doesn't
self-love. She's
just
sharing-
like
she's
you're not
sharing that.
cured of it. Like she's even sharing this. Like I don't want to quote how many years of recovery she has, just for the simple fact I don't know the exact answer. But she has quite a few 24s, and she's sharing about it now. Like she still struggles, not every day, but it still happens. So what she does is she reaches out to her. She said her tribe, but like the other women in the program are people she has made close to her. It's like, yeah, I know you did, Josh. I know you did, Ryan. But that's what we do. That's what you guys have taught me to do. It's like we reach out. We've networked and we've been going to these rooms and we've had sponsors and sponsees. To keep doing this is like when someone's genuine. Like I've met people and it's just might be just like in the streets. Like we had to be great judges of characters for the most part. When you're out there running and gunning, we can apply some of those things from our past and our today to know what we want in life. Elaina, what's up?
Nothing. I'm listening to you.
Speak on it. Come on.
So
I don't know.
right. What? What did you just say? Are you
She
serious?
said nothing.
Yeah, she said, "I don't know what to say."
I did
don't
not
believe-"
say that. Why are you putting words in my mouth?
I thought that's what you said.
That's
Okay,
what I
that
heard
is what
too.
I said.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
Thanks,
she said.
Ashley. Anyways,
Okay, sometimes it happens.
that's a first.
Write it down. Won't happen again for a while.
I'm gonna put it in the calendar, and I got a witness.
Okay, we're at like
like,
25
wait.
after 10. Do you guys have another topic we want to bring up?
I want to hit Jolissa
No?
real quick.
Good. All right.
I want to say, she said a bunch of nice stuff, and I want to say, hey man, thanks for the nice stuff that you said. And this is why we're here.
Do you want to scroll back? Hey, will you scroll back down to Jalissa?
It's just up a little bit. She right there. You're welcome for
She
getting the
said
link.
pretty
Whoever
much-
sent it to you.
Pretty
and-
much we're like the most important people or
And
most
inspirational.
That our paths
inspirational
crossed,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some nice stuff. And
You are some of the more inspirational people I've ever crossed paths with. The people I keep going back to, even though I am shameful AF, but it always real here. It's always real here, and the message is always gut punching. I'm glad I joined. Thank you for sending me the link. I
So-
needed this.
So you're welcome, and we love you.
Yes,
and,
we love you, and we're always here for you.
Yeah, come check out a meeting. You can hit. You know what? Any ladies are either just for the ladies. Are you guys open to saying your name and extending?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can friend me on Facebook, Ashley Corbell.
Yep, and my name is Elaina Etheridge, and you can friend me on Facebook or send me a message, and I can send you my phone number.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if they don't mind, I'll put it at the end of the shows when I comment on people's, like right now, tomorrow, if I go onto the show and make a comment, it'll be at the end of the comments. Just tomorrow or later tonight, read the end of the comments. I'll have both of their Facebook links up there.
I totally missed something, didn't I? In the comments.
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Not that I saw.
So did we just want to skip what we said we were going to talk about
yeah,
last week?
it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
good. I mean, we weren't going to talk about it unhealthily, first of all.
No.
Yeah, I
So,
It can be helpful.
about it.
I mean, you know
All
what?
right, so how do we just bring it up?
Okay,
'Cause we
so
got it
last,
different.
Let's
Yeah.
let Elaina do it.
all right, so last week there was a question that was brought up,
Oh, she saved it.
and it says, when does it go from being friendly to 13 stepping?
Okay.
So I'm
Explain 13 stepping real quick.
13 stepping, honestly, is when the way that it's explained in a dictionary / the internet is when somebody over a year of clean time or sobriety takes advantage of a person that is just coming into the rooms, a newcomer. So there's a difference between 13 stepping and being extra friendly with somebody. There's people in these meetings, they flirt with people, they do things like that. I mean, we're all human. We're going to do those things. The difference with 13 stepping is don't come into a meeting with an agenda. A friend of mine gave me this word a few weeks ago, an agenda, to find somebody to be with. Don't come into the rooms and look for those sweet little girls that are in treatment or those 3 sweet little women that are in treatment, and look for somebody that you're going to just sleep with. Like, that's not what you do in recovery. We're here. We have problems. We have addictions. We're trying to find ourselves. We're trying to love ourselves again. You don't want to put something on somebody like that, because then if it goes bad, that's something that's going to go in their brain that's going to make them possibly think that they're not good enough, and they could go out and relapse.
And die.
So, and
I've seen it happen in the rooms
and
numerous
I've
times.
seen it happen
Right.
too,
Numerous
where
times.
people, and I won't lie, I'm guilty. My ex, I met him in the rooms. He was only 2 months sober, but you know what? We were together for 13 years. I don't consider that 13 stepping. We were together for 13 years.
Right.
We had a home, we had a house, we had kids. Like, there was so many things that added into that. It wasn't just a hump and dump.
I'm going to read this definition quick. And it's the internet. It's from rehabs.com. I don't know what that is, but it's what came up. Simply put, the 13th step is a colloquial term for when a 12-step old-timer hits on a group newcomer with less than a year of sobriety. It can be for a variety of reasons: emotional, financial, physical. But either way, it's someone in a position of power trying to take advantage of someone who is weaker. So now that's the textbook. Oh my gosh, you guys are crazy. That's the textbook definition. And I don't know. I think people get it misconstrued personally. I think so. Like, let's just say.
Well, Lana said it. It can happen, and it doesn't mean it's ungenuine.
I want to clarify when I use this example. I have a girlfriend. It is not Elaina. Elaina is single, but I'm just using this. So
Hell
let's just,
yeah, and I'm staying that way.
So let's just say that
Recovery.
Tad and Elaina decided to date, and we're both in recovery. That's not 13 stepping.
No.
I have almost 2 years clean. Elaina has 2 years clean, and we decided as adults to date.
Yeah.
We're freaking adults. We can do that. And so, that's not 13 steps. Let's say
No,
that
it's
Tad.
taking
Okay,
advantage.
so let's go with my situation.
Yeah,
Your situation's different because.
So here's my
Go ahead.
situation. Okay, so I have a little bit of time on me, and who I'm dating at this time.
Living with?
Yep, I'm living with and dating. He was vulnerable. He asked me for help, and he was reaching out. He was struggling and stuff like that, and I took him to meetings. But as we started to hang out, I started to like him. We started dating on his year anniversary. So that to me is not 13 steps.
Yeah, that's called prospecting.
No,
but we're happy today. We're living together, and we're growing, and we're helping each other grow.
Right.
He didn't just come into the program. So sorry, as you think
sorry,
that I
Ashley.
13 stepped you, but I really did.
He was being funny. But listen, there's a big
In the
difference.
NFL, we call that
There
scouting
is a
draft
big
picks.
difference. And one thing we need to remember when we come into these rooms is that we are all friends and we are all family.
Yeah. And
We
so,
need to be there for each other.
Sydney's got something too.
And it's just, it's not okay, you guys. I don't
Yeah.
even know how to express this to the point to answer the question. It's not okay. People come here to get help.
I got
And when it comes
I wanna hear
to
what Sydney has
when it
to say,
comes
too.
to
She's
being in a
talking.
relationship with somebody, you got to make sure that you are 100% ready.
Well, and they waited to, and you two kind of waited though. Like, it wasn't like you guys just
No, they got to know each other.
You
They
guys
did
got
it
to
like
know,
a
and you waited
relationship.
until he was
That's
technically
different.
ready, and
Yeah.
like not
That's not-
a year's not the
yeah.
magic fucking
No, it's
number
not.
either.
No, and it doesn't say in the big book either.
No, and that's
Well,
not
no,
what
it's
Elena's
not the
talking about.
magic
She's
number.
talking about some vulnerable
So if you'd have
newcomer
picked him
and
up-
then someone scheming on him.
Yeah.
If you'd have picked him up at 60 days and just took him straight to
Yeah,
your place
no, yeah.
and been like, "You're mine," that's called finesse. That's 13
Yeah,
stepping.
yeah.
You would have finessed him.
There's so much common
Finesse.
sense with
Here's
this.
the
Go
thing
ahead.
about
Sid.
what it says in the big book sends some kind of mixed messages, but it's also presuming that everybody is doing the 12 steps.
Right.
And that definition is presuming that everybody is doing the 12 steps, which we know that they're not. And a lot of people are just hooking up, and that is not 13th stepping if you didn't do the first 12 steps first.
Right, true that.
And if you're preoccupied with hooking up with somebody, there's a different fellowship for that.
Wait, did
You
you
know?
say the 12 steps? Because there's only 12, right?
Right.
Okay, just checking.
And so if all you're doing is hooking up, that's not recovery.
Hell
and,
no.
And there's help for you if you're that preoccupied with hooking up.
You know-
and it's not and it's a specific fellowship, you know? And it's just
I love
like
you,
it's
Sydney.
very destructive, and we're all vulnerable people, and we
So-
are all family, and so that makes it kind of a sick thing.
I
you
can
know?
I can speak on this. So I was a 13 stepper at one point in my life, and not this time around, but when I when I was in my early 30s, I went up to a different part of the different area, and I hooked up with all the girls from the treatment center. And it was and I wasn't able to have a quality of recovery because of it. And it was the most lonely I ever was.
And who knows what you did to
Exactly.
those poor girls?
And
Exactly.
a friend of mine who actually owns a sober house. It's called Changing Gates. It's a Christian equine therapy house. And he was like, "Dude, you have daughters, you have sisters. These are someone's like." He had to put it for me in a different way, and I had to move out of that town because and that because that was my addiction. Afterwards, I was so broken from what had happened with my marriage, my past recovery, and the two unhealthy relationships I had put on top of my marriage, and 3-4 years of using that. Like I just wanted anything to put on it, like my sponsor talks about. And I used to say this as an excuse for my behavior. It was is that my name's on the phone list and I'm not reaching out to them. They're texting me. And my sponsor, my former sponsor, Jason and Guy, a friend of mine, were like, "Yeah, but just because they reach out to you and say you're cute doesn't mean you have to say, yeah, thanks, and do back to them." So, and it took, and I think I was actually in my 20s, but it happens. And I've also been 13 step. So, it's like, I'm not going to shoot anyone for doing it, but
It's not about shame in how you feel. It's not about shaming anyone. We all have these feelings. We're human, and it talks about it a lot in the big book. If you get that far into the book, and it's not about shame about the way we feel. We feel the way we feel, and there's many couples, and there's many relationships that started in these rooms that are based in love and not sex.
Yeah, that
The
are
issue
great.
Is that being preoccupied with sex is dangerous to yourself and others. This is a deadly disease. And we all have these feelings, obviously, but the thing is that the ideal is love. The ideal is not sex, and that's what it talks about.
my gosh. You're so great.
It works if you jerk it too.
Self-love.
Yes.
Wow.
Self-love.
So
Self-love.
I'm gonna just add something really quick. So I'm a pretty open book. I will tell people all about the things that I've done in life because I've got nothing to hide anymore. And I will tell you that a year and a half ago, when I had about 6 months sober, I didn't 13 step somebody, but I put myself in a situation where I had to make amends to somebody because of the actions that I played. When you 13 step people and when you do things that could potentially harm somebody's feelings or something like that, you have to remember that you now have to add them onto your amends list. You have to make an amends.
Yeah.
And with how much stuff we've all been through, I'm not going to make the list right now, but all the things that we've been through, Really think about it. Do you want to add somebody else to that amends list?
I think some lowlife that's doing this shit not gonna care.
Well, still.
I understand what
Then
you're
they need
saying,
to
but
get more spiritually
of
fit with
course,
themselves
of
and work
course.
the program.
But we're talking about people that are in here so-called recovered and have worked their steps with a sponsor, and then they're coming here scheming on some, I don't say weak-minded, some poor little girls that are, or it could go both ways.
And it could go both
Vulnerable.
ways.
Vulnerable.
I've seen
yes.
it go
Men
both ways.
and-
Yes, okay,
Oh
both.
yeah,
both.
JJ made that. She
Vulnerable.
made that comment. She said it goes both ways.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, vulnerable, all right, vulnerable addicts
yeah.
or alcoholics.
it doesn't matter.
They come
Like,
in here. You could
yeah.
kill them. It's going to kill them. And these people don't care because they're thinking about they're about sex, and that's it.
And
that's it. Not caring about someone else's well-being. They're in here just to hook up, and that's wrong.
As a
That's-
codependent man who has been, I'll just put it out there, who has been diagnosed as a sex addict, and who has mostly gotten over that. I mean, here's the deal. Like, a lot of my relapses came after a breakup. I can't. I'd
Me
come in
too.
the room and I'd come in and I'd be sober, and then I'd find a girl, and I'd do it, and it wasn't. It's whatever. I'd find a girl. I like before. The longest I've ever been out of a relationship in my life, total time since I've been about 14, like all together is probably under a year, and that's all together. And and I say that as someone who's in a relationship, and I'm in a relationship 5 days after treatment to now, like right now. Like,
That's where the self-love comes into
And-
play. If
and
you don't
I
love yourself, then you
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
always have to be with somebody so you can feel that love from somebody
and
else.
So that was and this time it's been different, but it hasn't. And I would say yes, my girlfriend's wonderful, and she has a lot
Yeah,
to do with
she
it because
is.
she's different. But also, like, here's the deal: I love my girlfriend. Yes, we have an open and honest relationship, and it's the healthiest relationship I've ever been in. But I also know now that, am I going to be sad if something happens to our relationship? Yes.
Are you
Am I
going to
get-
use over it though?
No.
Exactly.
And it's because what I did differently this time is our recoveries are different. In the past, my recovery was intertwined with my relationships. So when they fell apart, let's just say this, you and Ashley are best friends. I would date Ashley, and then this is my whole sober network. All of a sudden, boom, I'm ashamed. We break up. I can't deal with you guys, and I have no sober network, and I'm back out there using.
Yep.
And I feel like shit because now I'm single and alone with myself again.
Here's
And
So one of the things that I learned with all of this is it's not the whole 13th stepping and whatever else that people like to call it. When I got sober, I needed that instant gratification that I wasn't getting from not drinking or doing drugs. I needed instant gratification, and that's the spot that I went so that way I wouldn't go pick up again. But then you get all up in your feels or whatever else, and then bam, you're one step closer to a relapse. And there was a time where I was relapsing like crazy for about 8 months because I kept putting myself in the wrong situations.
That's what we're talking about. Like the instant gratification. It's the same thing that we're talking about with addiction. It's body versus spirit. It's sex versus love is body versus spirit. And we can't focus on our spirit if we're drinking and using, just like we can't focus on our spirit if we're focusing on our physical pleasure.
right.
And the physical pleasure gets to be there in the future. We have to leave these chemicals that we were addicted to, that abused us, that we abused behind. We can have physical pleasure in the future, but that comes in the form of exercise and good food, in addition to positive, ethical sex.
Well, listen, this is what Jerome just asked, kind of the same thing. And for me, besides setting the drugs down, for the last 3 years, the hardest thing for me is not to be in a relationship. Since I was 16, yeah, I've been using and running and gunning, but I've been in a relationship. 3 different relationships for the last 20 years. Solid relationships. So I'm used to having another half in my life.
Right.
And these last 3 years, that's been one of the hardest things for me, is not being in a relationship. But it's also, I'd have tacos.
I'd rather have tacos.
But it's
Me
like,
too.
I like right now, I would love to be in a relationship. But me personally, they talk about a year or whatever. Like, I would give it up to the person. Like, Jerome's asking, when's a good time to basically get in a relationship? And me personally, what I would tell anyone, like, all right, a lot of people put this year on it or whatever.
When you're ready.
When you're ready.
you're re-
Like,
yeah, yeah,
like you're working a
Relationship is that with your higher power.
Yeah, like
And
You
can
will
have
know when you're
relationships
ready.
and
with
I
human beings. Once
just
you
from
get a
what
real
I'm hearing, like
relationship
our
with someone
sponsor,
greater than
everyone
yourself.
I know in recovery, 90% of everyone I know in recovery, the biggest issues, and this is hands down, it has to revolve around relationships. That goes to our sponsors, to my friends, to everyone I've been
Right,
around
right.
with.
And
the
that-
biggest issues and the biggest drama that I see on a day-to-day, even after 3 years, has to do with some way, shape, or form a relationship. Not 13-stepping, a relationship. That's one of the hardest things we deal with in recovery, and that's in life, is a relationship with the opposite sex or the
Right.
same sex or whatever. But what I'm noticing, and that, like I said, my mentors, their biggest issues they've had in recovery is a relationship. My friends.
Not just, you know what? And I'll say this. So, Jerome, I love you. You're a really good friend. For myself, this is just something coming from, because everyone's heard me say, like, with the relationship that I have and that it is healthy and that I do love my girlfriend and I'm glad that we've got where it was, it would have been fucking easier if I'd have been single. And that's nothing to do with her. And because it was harder for me, because now I have her opinion and sometimes that's good. I have all this other stuff. And I don't know if it took me, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened if I would have been single and just, learned to love myself. But it was hard as someone else is liking me and I'm liking that. Because sometimes she became a priority over stuff that maybe, and
Yeah, Sid said it. It's going to
Yeah.
rob us of our recovery at times if we're
Yeah,
not ready for
and-
that relationship.
And and the way I was running and gunning with my recovery, sometimes like 'cause sometimes I was selfish with my recovery. I put more into this club than I did my relationship with. For a year, I put more into this club than I did with my girlfriend, my kids, my family. That's
so
a
that
fact.
begs the question: were you ready for a relationship? Like
Probably not.
wholeheartedly.
But and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But so.
You learned from it.
I learned from it, but so what I would suggest is as you're building relationships with people, because relationships are work. A relationship with Tim, I
yeah,
got to communicate
dude.
with Tim so that we
Even
don't
friends.
get off track. If I don't call you back and that's what I'm saying. All relationships are work. So as your relationships get better, and not romantic ones, I'm talking like your relationships with your friends start getting better, and that starts to be, I don't want to say easy, but you start, what's a better word, guys? As you start to be able to handle relationships like an adult, maybe?
Yeah, growing
or,
up.
or a productive member of society.
Yeah.
Then maybe you start exploring dating. I mean, but it's ultimately up to you.
Well, it's even hard. It's even hard getting
right.
close to people in the program, and then when they end up going to relapse and leaving the room, and
They'll
you've
fuck
already
you up.
Yeah.
built it. Yes,
I
that
have a
fucks
hard
you
enough
up.
time keeping a relationship with my friends.
Yeah,
Right.
That will
And
fuck you up. Or
I get
when
you,
people
Jerome.
die,
Jerome's-
that fucks you up.
Jerome says I try and escape in people, and that's why I know I'm not ready. And I've talked about that on this show before, like how I would see like, let's say Ashley's she's very nice to people. Or there's something she's very polite to people. So instead of taking the politeness of Ashley, I would try and become Ashley. And I would do that with my
Right.
friends and copy everything in it
Yep.
because I didn't know, because I'm crazy. But
Well, you're trying to find who you are.
yeah.
And you're not sure what to do, so you start grasping onto things that you want and mimicking it
And
or
the
whatever.
beautiful thing that Christine has allowed me to do is she has let me do my own thing. And it's been hard because we're both codependent. And so she doesn't believe me that I'm codependent because I'm out here doing all my stuff with my friends, and doing all this service stuff. But she's allowed me to do that because she knows I got to do what I got to do in my recovery. And I've had to allow her to have her own life. And sometimes it's fucking frustrating because I've been in unhealthy relationships and I'm used to us already being moved in, us just hanging out all the time and that type of stuff. But that doesn't work for me.
Love it, Bob.
Right, Bob. Right. Well, and this goes back to what Elaina, the top, like self-love. Like once you can love yourself fully, then like I said, it's been 3 years and I'm not ready for a relationship. Right. But I don't know what that says for myself. Like I work a heavy ass program. Like that's part of my life.
Some people
But-
just decide they don't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
I know people like that and they're actually happy. My uncle's like that.
Well, when you have a routine and you're super busy, it's like I don't have time for a relationship.
Well, I say that with people that ask me if I will sponsor them, stuff like that. Like sometimes like I'm like I would be cheating myself out of my recovery and be cheating you out of like going through the book when I can't devote the time that's necessary. Something like that. Like that's not how I look at it now, but I'd feel the same with a relationship. Like how could I be, or maybe I'm just scared from all these years of relationships and they failed eventually, even though it was probably my own addiction that I know it was that wrecked them. Damn near killed them, but I can't say rectum without it.
Oh my god, that would.
But you know what I'm saying? Like until I can tell you, like, all right, look, there's been plenty of times I want to be in a relationship, but how unfair would that be? Like, look, I'm still going to be doing my recovery 100%. I'll give you 50. Like that's just bullshit. Why would I dare do that to someone when I'm trying to be a better person, a better human? Like I'm trying to figure out who I am. It would be unfair. And Jerome hit it in the head. Like, I want to dive into it. But that'd be bullshit. That'd be not fair to that person. Like,
and
Exactly,
so as an
exactly.
unhealthy codependent person who had to go through therapy and sometimes not talk to my girlfriend as much as I wanted and not hang out with her and go through this shit, it was a fucking bitch to do. And it was worth it, but it would have been a lot easier for me to work on myself.
See, my biggest problem is that recovery is my number one. Recovery is my number one. Then my kids, then my job. I don't have time to fit inside of what I want to do to be always checking in with somebody.
and you know
or
that-
letting
that's
them
the
know what
battle.
I'm doing. Like, I can't do that.
there's got to be a balance.
She
if you
feels
want it, though.
like
I mean,
like
I don't know
she
what it
feels
is.
like that I care more about this place than I do her, and at times, and you know, she does. And it's not that my recovery is number one, because it is, but she feels like I care more about a building than
Well,
her.
and from the outside looking in, it might seem that way.
Yeah, and it's like, and there are times where I'm just here and this is all I do.
Well, if your recovery wasn't your number one, you wouldn't be there for her.
I think
and
we
she
all
gets
agree
She
that
gets
has to
too.
be the case.
She gets that
Yeah.
too, and it was a balancing thing, and like I even had to reach out to people and so I reached out to my dad and a couple older, my grandpa and stuff like that.
People not in recovery.
Yeah, and other men, and like and they're like, dude, you're gonna have to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
this is gonna
Even
be a
people that
life-
aren't in recovery have to try to figure out
Well,
relationships. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
see my parents. Like
dude, people
it's a
get lost
job.
at work. People
Yeah.
and so it's a thing. John.
I want to answer John's thing right there.
and read it first.
It says, what scares me about dating an addict is what happens when you come home one day after dating for years and they're sitting on the couch using. So I'm going to answer this because
I want to after you.
Because you went, yeah.
I recently went through this. I was engaged to get married until last June when I found out that the man that I was going to marry was smoking meth in my house. And I didn't see the warning signs because I was all in my recovery. I was going to my meetings. I was going to work. I was being a mom. I was doing those things while still trying to have a relationship with him. But it was the little things that I wasn't really paying attention to. Like I used to have to push him out of bed in the morning to go to work. And then it got to the point where he was going to bed after me and getting up before me and doing all these things. And I'm only sharing this because these are like people in my recovery, and I'm not going to tell you his name and like stuff like that. But like, I absolutely loved this man, but he couldn't give up the drugs. Like I tried, I kept going back with him and getting and leaving him and going back
Trying
with
to
him,
fix him.
putting him in, like he went to treatment. He would go to meetings. He would do all these things, and he would tell me he was going to fix himself. And then it got to the point, and I'm going to share this because like this is the time that really, really cut the straw for me, is that I found a bubble in one of my rooms in the house, and I have a pretty big house, and I asked him about it, and he told me to UA my children.
Oh hell no.
And that right there, I mean,
Your young
everybody knows
children.
I got two teenage kids, 16 and 18. They sleep 20 hours a day. You cannot tell me that they're smoking no meth. Like you can't. So I had to make that decision where I had to finally leave.
Right.
Or I had to have him leave. And I would do anything to still be with him, but I can't for my own recovery, for my children, for any of it. He needed to go figure out himself. So I told him to go figure himself out, and he's still out there using, and it's been since June.
Well, and here's the flip side. And like we all know our friend Dustin, and we started in recovery, not started, he was been in and out. But we were at Fairview together. We got out together. He was part of that early recovery fellowship of mine. Him and his woman. Tight. And they're together today and healthy. But a year into it, he worked out on the road, over-the-road trucker. He came home. She was using. His didn't work out as well. He was like, fuck that. She's using. I'm going to go use. That led to a relapse that basically almost killed him. Like, that's the alternative. Like, if you weren't working your recovery so hard, that definitely could have happened.
Yeah.
See,
Like,
and
you could have went back out.
I honestly, I love myself. I don't care what other people think. I don't care any of that, really. I really don't. Sometimes it irritates me what people say, but I love myself, and I know what's going to happen if I go back out there. And I have built myself up so much in recovery to be able to have the house that I have. I put myself through nursing school. I quit doing drugs and put myself through nursing school because there are opportunities for us when we actually want them.
True that.
There's
Mic
just-
drop.
Right. So
Mic drop.
I'm not trying to drop no mic.
But
Okay?
no, and
I'm
you
just-
know what? That is a big,
There's just
like,
there's things that if you
but you worked your
actually-
ass off for
I
this
worked
stuff.
my ass off, and I
And
still
nobody's
do.
gonna come.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna come ahead of that. So
No,
yeah.
and no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
this
right.
dude wanted to get high. Apparently, he had other things at the top of his list.
And that's the same thing I say to my sponsees. I've had sponsees that don't want me to be their sponsor anymore. I have sponsees that bust their ass. I am not here to work your program. I have to work my own program.
Right. Right.
If you're not willing to put in the work, and I'm not saying you have to put in the work the way that I put in the work, because I put in the work what I need to do to stay sober and clean, because I'm still clean off of drugs too. You have to flip and do this. You have
Do it.
to remember what's important for
Just
you.
do it.
How far are
Nike.
you willing to go?
Speaking of that, sponsees, shout out Nicole. She was on before we
Yep,
had
shout
technical
out to
difficulties.
Nicole. I love you, Nicole.
She checked in, but we were having difficulties earlier in the show.
Word.
So, what up?
hey, you want to give a promo?
Promo 2218. Check it out. Here at 2218. They kept the doors open. That should be enough said. Like, they never closed the doors throughout all this pandemic stuff. They kept a warm building for us to have meetings. 2218 is the reason that we're here bringing you guys this podcast. If you would like, please donate. Find Cheryl on here. She's been putting links up. We've got links. Go to 2218, their Facebook page. And if you want to donate, feel free to. It helps. It immensely helps keep these things going.
Absolutely. Come.
Oh, and hit the share and like button and smash that. You know what? Don't even
tell
hit
your
the
friends.
like button. Smash it.
You know what? Tell the person on the corner. Tell the person at the corner store. Tell the person on the bus. Tell everybody
Just
about
tell
the show. Yep. Scream it from the roof. Do it. Do whatever you got to do. Thanks, everybody. So I want to thank our guests. Thank you, Elaina.
Oh, it's that time?
Yeah.
I want to. Yeah, it's been that time. I want to. Ashley, I also want to thank you too.
Absolutely.
You ladies have been amazing.
Yes, you two are great guests. We appreciate you.
We still have to do.
I love you,
we still have to do
Ashley.
Love you,
gratefulness
Elena.
Gratitude
and a buzzer beater. So we
buzzer
still got
beaters,
like 10 minutes
next
of a
week
show.
promo.
Yeah, I'm about to do the
So we're
next.
about to fit 10 minutes into 5?
No, we're gonna be late.
We had a 5
That's
minute.
the way we
had
do
a 5
this.
We get a 5
we're gonna be-
extra.
Yep. So next week's show is going to be you know what? Let's do gratitude, and then I'll talk about next week's show. So,
Gratitude. Let's work the room. Jesse's up. Sid, are you ready with that microphone? All right, so we're going to run around the room real quick. We're going to ask everyone what they're grateful for. Sid's going to run that. He'll go Sid, then Ryan and his woman back here, and then Sydney, and then Ashley, and then Elaina, and then Tad, and then myself, of course. So, Jesse, what are you grateful for, my man?
I'm grateful for all the people in my life today.
Wow, nice and easy peasy.
Ashley, what are you grateful
And-
quick for?
Introduce yourselves and tell us what you're grateful for.
I
But
was
go
gonna
ahead.
have you do it
Oh,
before they go ahead.
Me or them?
them. Go ahead.
So confused.
I'm Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
I'm grateful for you guys for always being there for me when I can't be there for myself.
We love you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
I can't believe I just met him.
Yeah,
Finally, in
that's
person?
crazy.
Go ahead. Sorry, what's your name?
I'm a team.
How you doing?
I'm grateful for, getting to know you guys, even though I'm not part of the recovery community. But
Welcome.
You
I'm still
welcome.
welcome you guys. So
Thank you for being here, girl.
Thanks for being here.
Sydney. Sydney.
I'm Sydney. I'm an alcoholic. I'm grateful for this show, man. I didn't want to talk about sex. I never want to talk about sex, but I'm glad we talked about sex and
We
love.
talked about sex.
You said jerk it. Hey, Sydney said jerk it earlier on the show.
we talked
He
about how-
absolutely did.
And we talked about it. You know,
we did.
And we got through it unscathed.
because
I must have had a squirrel moment.
I feel,
Huh?
you know, like I'm doing what's right for me, and I'm not judging what's right for anybody else,
There you go.
except as to how it helps us out as a community. You know what I mean? But I'm not taking anybody else's inventory. You got to do what you got to do, and if you listen to a power greater than yourself, you know what you got to do. So.
That's a mic drop.
Word.
Thank you,
Ashley, what are you
Sydney.
grateful for?
I'm Ashley. I am truly grateful to be on the show, to be part of the show, and to hopefully have helped one person that was in the comments. So truly grateful for that.
Yes. Elaina.
Honestly, today I'm grateful for this amazing meeting that I went to last night. There was only a few of us in there, and I was able to say a lot of the things that were on my mind and get some amazing suggestions from some great people in recovery that have been there for me for the last 3 years that I've been doing this and 2 years of my sobriety. So I am very grateful today.
Thank you, Elena. Hey,
Elena.
Tad, what are you grateful for today, Tad?
I'm grateful for Zachary's comment.
What led
I'm not.
two topics:
Really,
self-love,
Zach?
13 steps, one solution, jerk it. Whoa! Hey, you know what? Sydney patent. He's trademarked that.
Zach,
Anyways,
call your
let's roll it.
sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Tad,
Hey, we got to get
Tad,
this
what are
going.
you grateful for tonight?
I'm
today?
grateful for the interaction of the show. I'm grateful for everyone on the comments. I know I'm just grateful for the life that I get to have. I think one of the coolest things Sid said to me, how did you say it? Do you even remember? What? Whatever it is, you're really good at whatever it is you do, Tad.
Oh yeah.
Is that how you said it?
You guys were
Yeah,
talking
so
about
you
it
don't
outside.
have to be
Yeah.
an artist. Whatever it is you do, you're really good at it.
Yeah, that was awesome, and that's basically how I feel. Like I don't even know what I do sometimes, but I'm glad that I'm good at it. So I'm grateful for that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when he cracks himself up. He's like, look at this. Look at his face. I love it. He's so cute. Oh, I love it. Oh boy, oh boy. All right, boys and girls. Tim's grateful for family, of course. My mother, my father, my brother, my family. I'm grateful to have family that I can lean on. So let's get to what I'm really grateful for. My family. That's just that easy. I've got a mother and a father. I got a family that goes to bat for me, and I'm grateful that they have their health. I'm grateful for recovery. Zach, you know what? He came through on his little surgery he was talking to us about on the show. Things like that. Like I'm grateful that these connections are out there for us. Cheryl, everyone that checked in. I'm grateful for so damn much. We only have so many minutes left. Otherwise, I'd keep on going about gratitude.
Yeah.
Oh, he's giving me the roll it up sign. He's like, come on, Tim. Come on. Come, break it off. I'm good.
I'm going to promote the next show. So we had a wonderful show tonight, and I once again want to thank Elaina and Ashley. Next week, we got Scott and Cheryl. Yep, the same Cheryl in the
Awesome.
comments.
Yes.
They're going to actually be calling in from Florida. Well, you
Florida.
know what? Yeah, we
well, it
probably
depends on where they're at that time.
Yeah, they could be anywhere in the world.
Alps.
We probably shouldn't just tell everyone where they are. My bad, Scott and Cheryl. But Scott is the current president of the Board of Trustees at 2218, and Cheryl is the current treasurer of the Board of Trustees, and they have done a lot, both for this club, for this community, and
They're pioneers.
They've been huge
love you
in
guys.
my life and this club, and in addition to that, Scott started a company out of his garage and became uber successful.
Yes.
And
In recovery.
Yeah, so so we're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show.
It's gonna be a cool show.
I'll be tuning in.
Buzzer beater.
Oh boy, what is it? What is it? What is it?
You know what? We're gonna go with Sid's favorite, just because I didn't have time to think of one.
What?
If you could 12-step any fictional character, who would it be?
How about we? Okay, all right.
Any fictional
Jesse,
Fictional
any
character.
fictional character? Fictional character. Who would you 12-step?
12-step.
Yeah. Who would you 12-step? Any
I
fictional?
can't even think of one.
So there's non-fictional, which means true. Then there's fictional, which means not true. So what not true character would you 12-step?
Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, boom.
Word.
Oh, I'm taking Roger.
He's got it. He's got it.
All right, you run into the back. I love you, Katie.
I don't even know.
Katie, I love you. All right, go ahead.
I'm Ryan,
Hey, Ryan.
and I would 12-step Marvin the Martian.
Marvin the Martian. Get it. Sydney.
Sydney, who you got now?
Who would you 12-step?
Did I say Yosemite
Yes,
Sam?
you did.
You
That was
already
the first
said
time.
him. Yeah.
I mean, Marvin the Martian, Yosemite Sam. How about Elmer Fudd?
Okay, word.
Okay, word. Elaina.
Does it have to be
It's whoever you want. Who do you want 12-step?
Fictional.
fictional? Let's 12-step Bugs Bunny and all of his carrots. I don't know.
All right.
All right.
That works.
Ashley.
Catwoman. I don't know.
Catwoman. Cat, who would you 12-step? Gotcha. Ooh,
Yeah, I'm gonna 12-step the Doctor from Doctor Who.
the doctor from Doctor Who.
Yeah, and I'm bringing Sid with me and like 14 other people because it's gonna be hard.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
All right, that's an actual character from a show called Rick and Morty.
I don't even watch TV, y'all.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
Okay.
I read books.
You know what? I love everyone who's been interacting with the show.
So, we want to thank all of you who have tuned in. We want to thank you for commenting. We want to thank our guests. We want to thank next week's guests. We want to thank 2218. Deanna, you're funny. And with that, I just want to say I love you. Be kind to yourselves. Feel free to reach out to any of us if you need help. All right. Have a great night, and we'll see you at the same gratitude channel.
Stay warm, guys.
Stay warm.
Cut it.